Hello, Assam.
Hello, Dennis. How are you?
All good, all good. Thank you for joining, and I'm officially welcoming you at our Freedom Business Summit 2026 US edition. Firstly, I would like to share a little bit about our upcoming event, what to expect, what is the main concept, and how everything will work. And it's great that you're joining for the second time. It means that
Yeah,
what we are doing, like we are on the right way.
I
Uh,
believe so.
just to make a short introduction about our current event edition, Freedom Business Summit. Uh, just let me upload the presentation. Uh, we've been successfully growing Freedom Business Summit over the last years, and I can tell you that our vision is to go strategically across different regions, and that's how it works. That's how it applies to what we are doing. Uh, so we prepared participants playbook where everyone who registered for our event can get an overview about this event edition, can get access to agenda and timing. I will explain why we do this. I believe that now it's very important to understand concept of your global diversification and building intentionally your plan B and investing into your freedom so you are not dependent on one single government, on one single country, on one single jurisdiction. And of course, we are going to discuss best citizenship, best residency programs globally. Every year, those programs are changing, regulations are getting more stricter, and it's important to know the latest updates, the latest news. And usually, when I talk to my network, and some people ask me, like, what is the best residency program, or what is the best passport, or when should I make it, or when should I start applying for it? The best answer is yesterday. So it may be a joke, but really it's not. And I would like to welcome everyone who is attending our event this year. It's a great pleasure to host you at our event edition. And our previous event was focusing on Southeast Asia. Our this event is focusing on US market. And what we do, we actually not only organize events, but we have a data-driven approach. And what we do, we organize and we build data-driven virtual summits for founders, for investors that are exploring global mobility options. And we've partnered with many companies. We have strategic partners, we have official partners. Some thank you for supporting our event this year. That's a great pleasure.
So,
Uh, just a short updates that you can follow us on our socials, on our Twitter, on Telegram. You can join our Discord community. You can follow us on Substack, and also in terms of this playbook, it just gives a brief understanding about our upcoming 2 days of event. I will guide you on agenda as we have some slight changes. As always, it happens because that's life. But actually, our event will be broken down into 2 days. So day one, March 28th, we are going to talk about Malaysia residency programs. We are going to talk about investment opportunities in Greece and high real estate investments, high ROI real estate investments. We are going to talk about strategic move and second citizenship in Grenada. We also supposed to have a talk today about Portuguese golden visa, but this talk we are going to move for tomorrow because of unexpected situation. And also, we are going to have Yuri from AI Business Advisors. He will be talking about relocation to Europe. And Sam, let me introduce you. Since you are based in Malaysia, and Malaysia is a great country, it's a very underrated country. To my surprise, not many people understand those benefits that Malaysia can bring. I've been in Malaysia many times. I spent there some time as well. I used to live. I lived there, and I'm really excited to hear more about all the options that Malaysia can offer in terms of residency programs, in terms of citizenship programs. I believe that Malaysia is a hidden gem, and please uh, join the talk, and let's start with our first keynote, focusing on residency programs in Malaysia. Let me know if you can share the screen, and
Okay.
I can guide you on
Do
this
you
as
hear
well.
me well first?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Perfect. Well, thank you for the introduction. This is the second time we, as MyPVIP, participate in the Freedom Business Summit. We like to support this event because we can see that it's actually growing over the years, and it's good to see this type of event because it's quite organized as well, and it talks about, as you said, like diversification, and which is something really important these days. Is actually you have to not just have a plan B. A lot of people actually are now thinking about plan B, C, D as well, right? So it's always good to get to know what's out there for other countries to provide for people to move out, right? Especially with the current event that's happening these days, right? So people are actually, I would say, panicking. So yeah, let's start and introduce why Malaysia is a great destination for expats. I'll be sharing my screen though. So
Yeah, let me give you access to your screen, so it would be easier, right?
give me 1 second. Do you see my screen now?
So, not yet, not yet.
No.
If you
Okay,
can.
let me check because I'm not sure why it's not working. 1 second. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes, Sam. Now we can see your screen. All good.
Okay, perfect. All right. Now, why Malaysia is a great destination for expats. All right. Malaysia,
Wait,
first of all, there
wait.
are like three main. Sorry.
Wait here. Sorry, we have
Yeah.
some issue. We can see your screen, but not the presentation, because you just shared a screen.
Interesting.
Could you
Give me
please
one
share
second.
presentation?
All right. Now you can see.
Yes, now all good. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Okay. So let's talk why Malaysia is a great choice for anyone who wants to, live or expand business or just stay with the family, right? First of all, cultural harmony, right? Malaysia is one of the few countries in Southeast Asia to stand as a metropolitan country where different ethnicities of Malays, Chinese, Indians, and many more also coexist peacefully. A lot of ethnicities here in Malaysia, more than actually just three, that people they just think that there are three only, but there are actually more. Also, the other thing is, which is stability from natural disasters, right? Malaysia is location itself grants people here a life relieved from the stress of natural disasters like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and typhoons. Like let's say in Indonesia, these things happen more, right? In Malaysia, you don't see these things. Strategic location. Malaysia controls the vital Strait of Malacca, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, While being centrally located between Thailand and Singapore, it holds big, the biggest advantages as the regional logistic hub. Malaysia is actually a gateway to Southeast Asia in general, right? Let's talk about communication. A lot of people, when they want to move to countries, right, they will first of all think about, is Malaysia can speak like a language they can. So Malaysia is well known as a secondary language, right? Both in daily life and business world, creating a flexible community for the expats to fit in. In like I been here in Malaysia for like almost 7 years now, and I can only just speak English, right? Why I don't have to learn another language? Everyone speaks English here.
Super strange. For some reason, Assam got disconnected. Assam, you've back?
Yes. Hello.
Okay,
Yes.
we can we can continue
You-
because
Okay.
you've been disconnected for some reason. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
All right. No worries. Okay. Back to the business opportunities. Did you hear the business opportunities?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we've heard about business opportunities. All good.
Perfect. Right. So again, affordable luxury and life in Malaysia, like the lifestyle in Malaysia is quite affordable. Like Malaysia offers high standards, relatively low cost of living. The country has modern infrastructure, excellent healthcare facilities, and a good education system. We will be talking more about this. But in general, it's you can live like similar to Dubai experience for more affordable prices actually. Safe, smart, and family friendly. You can get here top tier healthcare at a fraction of a global prices. International schools trusted by expat families as well. Modern housing and facilities designed for expats' comfort. Relocation support. Malaysia has been implementing long-term visa programs that gives expats and their families a better options to relocate to Malaysia. We will be talking about this further later. Healthcare and medical tourism in Malaysia. International standards care at a cost of 30 to 60% lower than the European countries. Accessible medical insurance for foreigners. Medical centers collaborated with luxury hotels and pickup services. Multilingual teams and interpreters upon request. Like a lot of international expats or like people in general, like they come here for healthcare or even medical tourism. They don't speak English. They don't speak even Malaysian language, right? So they want someone to translate for them. So you can actually request and you can get it immediately. Just the fact that Malaysia welcomed more than 1.5 million medical tourists, according to the latest report in 2024. Education and affordability in Malaysia. Education in Malaysia is quite affordable, right? You can get high quality education as well for sport academies and globally recognized degrees. And globally recognized curriculums, British as well, American and IB. Established learning programs for Korean, Japanese, Chinese, British, and Middle Eastern expat neighborhoods. Global collaboration resulting in accredited institutions like Monash, Nottingham, and Curtin. So I would say from my experience, I have a lot of friends who studied in Malaysia. I would say that they prefer Malaysia over any other country because of affordability first, right? High standards as well, high quality of education and curriculums. Now, when it comes to property investment and living costs in Malaysia, Malaysia is one of the few Asian countries allowing 100% foreign property ownership, especially under programs, Premium Visa, and Malaysia My Second Home. Although, as a foreigner, you can actually purchase a property without really having to apply for any type of visa as well. Potential for long-term capital appreciation, passive rental income, and significantly stability. Sorry, significant stability and control over the asset. Selected spaces and hubs specifically reserved for digital nomads and expats under certain programs in Malaysia, of course. Premium facilities, strong urban infrastructure, stable market values, reasonable maintenance expenses as well. As like this is also like a fact that Malaysia offers all of these at a significantly lower price than that of Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, and regional markets, right? Cultural, environmental, and lifestyle factors in Malaysia. Colorful landscapes, beaches, rainforests, highlands. Recently, I think just today, I heard some news stating that a lot of investors are coming to invest and do property development in the highlands in Malaysia. Vibrant fusions of Malay, Chinese, and Indian cuisines with additional dietary choices for extended halal food practices. This is something interesting as well for, I would say, Muslims, that when they go travel around the world, I would say Malaysia can provide the halal food here widely. So it's a great option for, I wouldn't say just specifically for Muslims, but it's easy for them to find food everywhere, right? Environmentally cautious, public participations in no plastic practice, beach cleanups, and tree planting drives. Dearly termed as the land of festivals, where Malaysia celebrates diverse cultural occasions throughout the year. Basically, as we said before, that there are a lot of ethnicities here in Malaysia, so you can get a lot of public holidays as well. They celebrate a lot here in Malaysia. Every month or 2 months, there will be like a celebration. Okay, let's introduce our company now after we spoke a bit about Malaysia. We are called MyPVIP. We are a licensed agency officially authorized by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, which is referred to as MOTAC, and the Immigration Department of Malaysia as well to represent MM2H and PVIP applications. Also, one fact that we are actually the first company to receive the official appointment from the Malaysian government to promote conservation and as well. Those are our official licenses for the Malaysia My Second Home program and the premium visa program as well. Because at the end of the day, in Malaysia, in order to apply, am I back? All good? Okay, I think there was. All right, so the Epic Business Travel Card, which is basically for 19 countries, but we can only assist here in Malaysia for Malaysian people here. We can also provide employment pass, investor pass, digital nomad visa, resident pass talent, Lab One, a foundation, trust, or company, single family offices, and Malaysia Technology Entrepreneur Program. We'll be getting deeper into each one of those. We can provide also concierge services like premium banking. Of course, we can help to expedite account opening in Malaysia for the bank account opening, setting up like the bank account overseas or virtually. Of course, once you want to do the transaction, you have to be in Malaysia. Of course, we can provide higher interest rates as well, preferential fixed deposit rates, exclusive banking products, and we are partnering up with multiple banks here as well for our clients' convenience. Education insights, of course, priority admission, preferential fees, education consultancy. We can also provide like education programs from our partners as well, because we are partnering up with some great international institutions in Malaysia. Property, of course, we can provide you with a consultation from experts, real estate agents, and special developer packages as well with our partners in the property field. Of course, we can help with applying for the insurance, chauffeur pickups, accommodation, company setup, pet relocation. We get a lot of those requests as well, logistics, and moving. All right, let's start with the first long-term program today, which is called Malaysia My Second Home. Malaysia My Second Home is a long-term residency scheme by the Malaysian government that welcomes foreign nationals who wish to relocate to Malaysia for residency, rehoming, and educational purposes. MM2H provides renewable multiple entry visa from 5 to 20 years depending on the category. One fact that some nationalities, a lot of people ask, like, what are the nationalities that are more interested in Malaysia? Here you can find like the most the most numbers we get from those countries and the most applicants actually. So I can say that Taiwan represents, I would say, 1/3 of our clients, and then you get Canada, United Kingdom, Indonesia, Pakistan, China, Japan, USA, and EU. Actually, we helped clients from, I would say, 40 plus countries to settle in Malaysia. The attractive features of the Malaysia My Second Home. First of all, you get multiple options in Malaysia My Second Home, which is from 5 to 20 years, like 5, 10, 15, and 20, with option, of course, to extend and renew the visa. Also, you get tax exemption for pension remittance in Malaysia, tax exemptions for foreign sourced income. Dependents are allowed to study at any higher education institution in Malaysia. You're allowed to purchase real estate for residential purposes only, and also is one of the requirements as well. You're allowed to transfer the visa to the next of kin in case the main applicant passed away. Participants can be accompanied by dependent spouses, parents, parents-in-law, children, all below the children only below 34 years old, unmarried, and unemployed in Malaysia. That's the condition. Now, to get into the requirements, I know that some people are asking all the time about, like, what are the requirements for the new MM2H, because this one is actually the enhanced version of the MM2H. It used to be called, like, previously, once they started it, I think something like the gray hair program, which was only targeting actually retirees. But now they enhanced, like, the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture actually enhanced this program and made it into 4 categories, as you can see. So we don't get it. So let's get into it. First of all, the applicant age. For you have the SEZ, which is the Special Economic Zone. It's 21 years old and above. But for the silver, gold, and platinum, it's 25 and above. Now, the SEZ one, Special Economic Zone, this one is especially and specifically for Johor State, I would say, which is on the borders with Singapore. Visa validity for each one of those, the SEZ is 10 years, the silver is 5, gold is 15 years, platinum is 20 years. Of course, one of the main requirements for each program is to pledge in a fixed deposit, right? So the fixed deposit for the SEZ, in case the client is above 50 years old, so the fixed deposit will be 32,000 US dollars. And if the client is less, you have to pledge the 65 US dollars. And platinum, the silver, gold can actually stay, by the way, anywhere in Malaysia, but for the silver, for the fixed deposit, it's 150,000 US dollars. The gold is $500,000 US dollars. The platinum is 1 million US dollars. Now, for the property, also is the other main requirement, but the property price will be in Malaysian ringgit. So the special economic zone will be basically under the developer's rate. So you can get the property like from 400,000 up to 1 million, 1 million and a half, depending on the property you find over there. The silver one, though, the minimum purchase price is 600,000 Malaysian ringgit. The gold is 1 million Malaysian ringgit cumulative between the main applicant and the dependents. Of course, medical insurance and medical checkup are mandatory as well. Okay. Okay, back to medical insurance and medical checkup. So both are mandatory to hold in Malaysia. So the applicant, once they get the approval, they can come to Malaysia and apply for the medical checkup. Foreign domestic helper is non-eligible for the first three of those categories. It's only eligible for the platinum one, right? The participation fees, no, those are directly, of course, to the government. 1,000 for both the special economic zone and the silver one, and then the gold 3,000. Platinum is 200,000. Now, a lot of people would ask why 200,000 participation for the platinum, because the platinum allows the applicant to actually work and start up any type of business in Malaysia, according to the Malaysian law, of course. But the other categories, you're not allowed to work in Malaysia. It's just for you to come here and stay in Malaysia, and also for, as we said before, for educational for kids, if you want to enroll kids in international schools in Malaysia. The agency fees for each of those will be the special economic zone and silver, 40,000 Malaysian ringgit. And that's actually for the agency fee, it's standardized across all agencies in Malaysia. This decision was made by the Ministry of Tourism. The gold one is 55,000 Malaysian ringgit. The platinum is 70,000 Malaysian ringgit. Now, those are the requirements for the MM2H program. Now, let's get into the premium visa program. Premium visa program is actually a long-term visa, enables investors, entrepreneurs, and foreign talents to live, work, or study in Malaysia for up to 20 years, with an option to extend for another 20. It's a long time. The program has been a top among the foreign investors and provide efficiency for business expansion and affluent contractors. I would say that this one is actually one of the most flexible long-term programs in Southeast Asia. We have over 300 successful applicants from 40 plus countries since the implementation of the program since 2022. States have stated that PIP introduced more flexible and reasonable criteria to accommodate the participants' convenience to apply and renew. We will get into this later. The attractive features of the PVIP, first of all, as we said, it's a long-term visa, 20 years, and you can extend for another 20 years. One of the main feature is actually there is no minimum physical stay requirements. A lot of people, they just apply for the program and just keep it in the bag, like they want to get it as a plan B, right? So it's a great feature. Actually, it allows the applicant to work and carry out legal businesses activities in accordance with the law of Malaysia. It allows the applicant to study along with their dependents, of course. It allows them to purchase real estate for residential, commercial, or industrial purposes. And it allows them to conduct active investment in permitted fields. Participant, as well as the Malaysia My Second Home, can be accompanied by the dependents such as spouse, children, parents, parents-in-law, and one foreign domestic helper. This is allowed for the PPIP. Now to get for the requirements, the main applicant age is basically no limit, right? Like there is no minimum age for this. Anyone can apply. Dependent children can be under 25 years old. Now it used to be 20 years only. Now the immigration actually has raised this one to 25 years old. The visa validity 20 years. Fixed deposit placement is only 1 million Malaysian ringgit. There is no property purchasing program. So this program is only an investment of a fixed deposit. However, the applicant have to provide an income proof, which is 40,000 Malaysian ringgit monthly or 4,000 Malaysian ringgit annually. Nowadays, it can be onshore. It used to be only offshore income, right? Someone who's living in Malaysia already, and they have this type of income, they are eligible to apply for this program. Medical insurance, medical checkup, of course, mandatory as the MM2H. The participation fee are a bit higher here in this case for the premium visa because it allows you to, buy different types of properties, conduct investments, work, study, you and your dependents as well. So an applicant is 200,000 Malaysian ringgit, and this is only for one time. Malaysian ringgit. Now also there was a new update that the dependents, if they wish to stay only for want to stay for 20 years, they can actually pay half this amount, which is 50,000 Malaysian ringgit. The agency fees for this program is 60,000 Malaysian ringgit for the main applicant, and each dependent is half the price, which is 30,000. We have the Sarawak MM2H and we have the Sabah MM2H, with two different islands as well. Okay, back on. Now let's talk about the Sarawak MM2H, which is one of the services that we can provide as well. This is actually a renewable 5 plus 5 years long-term visa program by the Sarawak state government, allowing foreigners aged 30 years and above to live, retire, or invest in Sarawak. It is often considered more flexible than the federal MM2H, the West one, the West Malaysia MM2H, allowing participants to reside in Sarawak while having access to peninsular Malaysia as well. Sarawak MM2H program has seen basically a sharp surge in popularity, with 560 applications approved in 2024 and 265 approvals in the first 5 months of 2025. This is the latest report. Now the SMM2H requirements, age requirement, as we mentioned here, is 30 years and above. Validity is 5 plus 5 renewable. Fixed deposit placement is 500,000 Malaysian ringgit, and there is no property purchase involved, as well as the MM2H, the West Malaysia one. Now, but in order to be eligible for this program, you income, right, proof, or proof of saving funds or pension funds. So for the foreign income, the individual applicant, they should have income for 10,000 Malaysian ringgit per month at least. And if there's a dependent included, right, whether one or more, it should be 15 Malaysian ringgit per month. So if in case they don't want to provide the income proof, then the proof of saving funds will be sufficient. But the individual applicant should have 100,000 Malaysian ringgit. If they have dependents, it should be 200,000 Malaysian ringgit. And for the pension funds, the main applicant is 10,000 per month, If there are dependents included, it's going to be 15. Remember that you could provide one of those three. Of course, medical insurance, medical checkup, as any other program, you have to, it's mandatory, right? Processing fees for the government is only 5,000 Malaysian ringgit. Now here, I've outlined a comparison table for the three of the programs, right? Because a lot of people, they just want to choose which one suits them best, right? And it always depends on the applicant's needs and preferences. Someone might like MM2H because they don't want to conduct any business. Some entrepreneurs will say, okay, premium visa is more flexible for us. At least we don't have to stay for more days, right? So for the age requirement, as we mentioned, premium visa, there is no age limit. MM2H, the 21 years old and above, but 21 years old applies only for the special economic zone. The SMM2H is 30 years and above. The validity, as we mentioned, 20 years for the premium visa, 5 to 20 years categories M2H. The Sarawak M2H is 5 plus 5 is renewable as well. So basically, it's 10 years, but you get 5 years visa, and then you have to renew for the other 5 years. So you can go for the same process. Minimum stay requirements under premium visa, there's no minimum stay requirements. The MM2H federal one is 90 days per year. SMM2H is 30 days per year, but only in Sarawak, right? So if someone stays in West Malaysia and says that I'm already staying in Malaysia, but they didn't go to Sarawak, that doesn't fulfill this requirement. So they have to stay in Sarawak. The property purchase, it's optional under the premium visa. And basically, it's any property. So if the applicant wants to apply for like or buy a property in Malaysia under the premium visa, they are allowed to buy residential, industrial, or commercial. But MM2H is residential only, and it's mandatory. SMM2H, on the other hand, it's optional. Financial proof, of course, mandatory to show for the premium visa. MM2H, this is a bit new. It's basically case by case because this new MM2H is basically being enhanced by the day, right? So sometimes it depends on the size of the family. If it's like a big family, then they might ask for some financial stability proof. The SMM2 mandatory to show, as we mentioned, either pension, savings, or fixed deposit placement. Premium visa, it's only 1 million ringgit. That's it. For the M2H, it ranges between like the 32,000 USD up to 1 million USD. SMM2H, it's only 500,000 Malaysian ringgit. Now, medical insurance, medical checkup, of course, it's mandatory. For Sarawak, it's in Sarawak only. Education dependents are eligible to study at any higher institution in Malaysia under any of those programs. So the kids or the dependents, they don't have to apply for a separate student pass. They can actually study and stay in Malaysia under this one of those programs. Premium my second home platinum category only, and applicable to H in Sarawak only. Business and employment applicable for premium visa, platinum holders only under MM2H, and eligible with certain regulations in Sarawak. This is for the business and employment. So we're done with the long-term visa options for now, premium visa and Malaysia My Second. Few months or 1 year, and then they will decide if they want to stay here for a longer term or not. So I would suggest this is a good option. So, as I was saying, I would suggest the digital nomad visa because it's 1 year visa extendable to another year. So let's talk about it. It's actually in Malaysia called the Dirantau Digital Nomad Visa. It's an initiative launched by the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, referred to as MDEC, to attract remote professionals, freelancers, and digital entrepreneurs to live and work remotely in Malaysia. It's a 12-month multiple entry visa. It provides an excellent opportunity for digital nomads as in pass extensions, eligibility to bring dependents as well, access to Dirantau hubs of co-working spaces to help them remotely and comfortably. Digital nomad visa requirements. A lot of people ask about the requirements for digital nomad because it's I can see like a lot of requests coming in nowadays. So the criteria is, let's start with the annual income, right? So we have two categories for the digital nomad visa. We have the tech talent and we have the non-tech talent. Basically, I'll let you know which one is which. So the tech talent is basically every professional related to IT and digital, digital marketing, digital content, and more. For the non-tech, it's basically C-suite positions, managerial positions, non-tech professionals, right? So the annual income, in order to be eligible for this program, it's 24,000 USD per year for the tech talent, and if it's a non-tech talent, it should be 60,000 US dollars per year. Nature of occupation: digital freelancer, independent contractor, remote worker, right? So one of those is works. Proof of employment, of course, the tech talent should provide a digital freelancer, independent contractor contract with the company. Should be active project, duration 3 months, month and above, eligible for both local and foreign clientele. For the non-tech talent, it should be a remote worker. So as we said, it's like managerial level, let's say. So in their contract, it should mention that they are allowed to work remotely, right? So they should have like an active employment contract, duration 3 months and above as well, foreign and non-Malaysian companies only. The medical insurance, of course, it's mandatory to be valid in Malaysia, whether it's a local one or an international one that includes Malaysia with it. MTEP, which is Malaysia Tech Entrepreneur Program, it's a government initiative aimed at attracting talented tech entrepreneurs, including founders and co-founders from across the globe. It provides support and resources to assist them in establishing growing their startups, along with great opportunities to explore and the thriving network of Malaysia's booming tech economy. Malaysia offers 1 year pass for new entrepreneurs and 5 years pass for established entrepreneurs or investors along with their dependents. This is also a great program for people who want to either start up their own company in Malaysia, or if they want to expand their businesses if they do have it in their own country. The MTEP passes and requirements: you have the new tech, which is a 1 year professional visit pass only, extendable based on achievement. Yep. And then we have the three other categories for the 5 year, which is experienced tech, tech investor, and tech for senior management. You can actually know and differentiate by the name. So experienced tech will be a founder or co-founder. Tech investor is basically an investor. Tech for senior management is like a managerial level who's been running a company for at least 5 to 8 years. Of course, for all of the categories, you need to provide a business pitch deck, right? A personal financial record for each of those should be for the company and for the individual as well. And of course, the applicant should provide certificate of good conduct, and that basically applies for all the other programs in Malaysia, whether it's digital nomad or premium visa or MM2H as well. Um, of course, proof of compensation is only for the tech investors and the tech for senior management. You must have a local sponsor and you must provide the latest resume and educational certificate as well. Yeah, of course, you need to provide your company incorporation forms for the last three categories, which is the 5 years visa. Not applicable for the new tech because they will be starting up their business in Malaysia. And then we have the investor pass. I would say this is a great option also for people who wants to explore investment opportunities. This it was introduced in on April 1st of 2025. It hasn't been even a year, providing them a longer period of 6 months with an option to extend up to 12 months. This program is standing where they don't need an additional employment pass to participate. Permitted sectors, all economic sectors, manufacturing for the existing investor, and selected service sectors under MIDA, which is Malaysia Investment Direction. Am I off? I think I'm off. Just 1 second. Yes, back. Sorry, the internet is okay. So eligibility to invest, of course, it's applicable for all three categories. Um, they are not allowed to bring dependents though, and they cannot work in Malaysia as well because they are only in Malaysia for the purpose of exploring the country for investment opportunities. Of course, to talking about the ease of business operation in Malaysia, Malaysia is ranked 12th most favorable country worldwide to set up a business. Double taxation agreement with multiple countries, which means that if you are taxed in your country, you cannot be taxed in Malaysia. Premium visa and exclusive investor pass for entrepreneur and business owners, extended period of time so they can run their business as well here. Lower corporate taxes rate of 17% to 24%. This is only for the West Malaysia, of course. Up to 100% equity for foreign direct investments. A foreigner can actually here own 100% shares of the company. Some people will say that you must have a Malaysian partner. Not in all cases. Some sectors need a Malaysian partner. Easy and efficient online processes for company registration and tax filing. You can actually start up your business in Malaysia fully online. You don't have to be present here in Malaysia. Now, for the company setup and employment pass, you have West Malaysia and you have Labuan, right? There are two different pathways here. So for the West Malaysia, you have the ESD and MDEC. We're talking about the employment pass as well because some people actually set up companies but they don't want to stay in Malaysia. But if they want to stay in Malaysia and hire foreigners as well, so they must go through one of those two agencies, government agencies. So the ESD is Expatriate Services Division, and MDEC is Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation. And then you have the Labuan for incorporation and employment pass. So as we said, ESD is mainly for all the type of businesses that are not related to IT. For MDEC, every type of IT digital type of business, they have to go through MDEC. Labuan is also a lot of people go through Labuan because they want to enjoy the benefit of paying less taxes in Labuan, where you can actually pay somewhat. It depends on the business type, of course, but you can pay some type of businesses can get 3% tax, or some other types of businesses they can get 0% taxes. And then we have lastly the resident pass talent, which is referred to as RPT, but this one is only if you already stayed in Malaysia under the employment pass. So this was introduced in 2011 by the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Immigration Department. Basically, it's a 10 years renewable visa for highly skilled expatriate talents seeking to stay longer in Malaysia. This pass focuses on giving foreign nationals that have been underemployment in Malaysia for at least the last 3 consecutive years more flexibility by granting an eligibility to change employer without renewing the visa. So basically, the person who holds this RPT can actually work in any company in Malaysia without actually applying for a separate employment pass. Eligibility criteria, of course, worked in Malaysia for minimum of 3 years consecutively, holds a valid employment pass for more than the 3 months validity during the submission and the resubmission of the application, earns a basic monthly salary of 15,000 Malaysia ringgit in Malaysia, excluding the allowance, of course, or bonuses, has a Malaysian income tax file number, has paid taxes for the most recent 2 years minimum at the time of application. Total annual income declared in the last 2 years tax filing needs to be commensurate with the minimum monthly income, at least 180 Malaysian ringgit per annum, holds at least PhD, master's, bachelor's degree, or diploma in any discipline from a recognized university or a professional competency certificate from a recognized professional institute, possesses at least 5 years of total work experience. So this sums it up. I hope everyone got what they need for Malaysia. Here you can find us, you can contact us either on WhatsApp, Facebook, email, or Instagram as well. So you can follow us and listen to the latest news. Okay, thank you, Denise.
Tom, yeah, thank you a lot
Yes.
for the presentation. We had our previous event about 6 months ago. Could you please share a
Yes.
few observations from your side in terms of number of applications, in terms of key three jurisdictions where you get the most applications from, and what is the main intent of those people that applying for Malaysian residency?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, 1/3 of our clients actually is from Taiwan, right? And then we get, from Canada, from the UK, from EU countries as well. I would say it's different from each client, right? Some people wants to come for the purpose of enrolling their kids in international schools, right? Some of them they actually prefer Malaysia as a plan B. Depend, on it's a lot of people who we can call, let's say, the collectors. I would say that they try to get multiple citizenships and residency programs across. Do you hear me?
Yes, you've back. Something super
Okay,
strange with connection, like it was disrupted many
I'm not
times.
sure.
Anyway,
Yes, it is. So anyway, so as I said, clients here actually it's different between each client, right? So some of them they want to enroll their kids in Malaysia. Some of them they want to just stay in Malaysia because they like the country. We you get a lot of Muslim countries as Muslim clients who prefer to stay in Malaysia because of the ease. As a Muslim majority country here in Malaysia, they can get
mhm.
halal food everywhere. They have also can put their kids in I would say Islamic schools. But of course, it's not just for Muslims. Anyone can come to Malaysia and they can get their own experience. And I'm sure you can go through, like YouTube or Instagram, and you can see and hear a lot of opinions about Malaysia, and everything is actually positive. I've never heard anything negative about Malaysia so far.
Yeah, from my personal experience, Malaysia is really a great country. Uh, and I know that Malaysian Derantau visa is quite popular. And considering that our this event edition we are focusing mostly on North American market, you've highlighted that many applicants from Canada. What about US? Or you would
Oh yes.
differentiate US market and Canadian market?
Yeah, no, I forgot about the US. So basically, when I say Canada, that means like Canada and the US. So,
Okay.
but the thing about the US, mostly, I'll tell you, uh, I would say few months back, you can get mostly retirees who want to get under the MM2H, who wants to buy property in Malaysia and stay and retire in Malaysia, right? Nowadays, you're getting also more interest for the premium visa from the US. A lot of people, they want to expand their businesses in Malaysia. They have a business and they want to expand it in Malaysia. Some of them, they just want to get the flexibility under the premium visa program, even though some people they don't want to conduct any type of business in Malaysia. They see that the premium visa is mostly flexible for even their dependents, because also they're allowed to they'll be enjoying the same benefits as the main applicant, right? um, for MM2H, people who want to stay in Malaysia and they don't, have a problem with buying a property, then they will prefer the MM2H program. So I would say the US market is actually currently we're receiving a lot of inquiries from US and Canada mostly, after Taiwan, of course.
Okay. Okay. Understandable.
But
Yeah,
again,
it's
just one thing that like, because when we say Taiwan, because like people speak Chinese, and here it's Chinese is widely spoken as well, right? So even some people from Canada and the US, some of them they are actually originally Chinese, but they are holding the Canadian and American passports. They would like also to come to Malaysia. So again, it depends on their background, right? But at the end of the day, I've helped many actually Canadians and American clients, families, and individuals to get long-term visas, and some of them actually got the short-term ones from the Malaysia Tech Entrepreneur Program and the Digital Nomad as well.
noted. Noted. Everything is great. The only, I believe, small downside is that Malaysia is very strict on granting citizenships, and it's almost impossible to get a Malaysian citizenship.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's actually true. Citizenship in Malaysia is not granted at all. It's a bit difficult, and even somewhat, I would say, like the PR is also a bit difficult unless you actually married a Malaysian citizen.
Noted. Noted. Okay, Sam. Thank you a lot for your presentation. Regarding the
Well,
questions, let me double check as most of the questions they've been related a bit of to technical things. But what
okay.
we are going to do, we are going to make email follow up to everyone who registered for the event, and we are going to share all the insights and all the updates with the audience based
Perfect.
on everything that you've shared. Thank
Amazing.
you again for joining Freedom Business Summit 2026 edition, and looking forward to collaborate with you in future. We'll keep you updated.
Absolutely.
And now we are moving to our second speaker. I would
Thank you
like
for
to
having me.
thank you, Sam. If you'd like, you can stay, but I know it's a late time
Yeah,
in
well,
Malaysia,
in
so
Malaysia, it's 12 a.m. already now here.
yeah. I mean, that's the reality,
The
right?
time
We
difference.
operate
Yes,
across different time zones, and that's now part of the business.
it
Uh,
is true. Perfect. Thank you,
okay,
Luis.
thank you, Sam. And now I would like to introduce our next speaker, Vasilis. Vasilis, good to see you. Thank you for joining our event edition. Thank you for being our partner. Great to collaborate with you. As you can see, we've partnered with Essam from MyPVIP Malaysia for the second event edition, and hopefully we build a long collaboration with you guys as well. Uh, I'm
Looking
super
forward.
excited. I'm super excited to hear more about Greece. You are representing Lux and Easy company, company that is a member of Nova Constructions, is one of the leader in terms of real estate and hotel development in Greece. And interesting to hear all the opportunities, especially high ROI investment opportunities, real estate investment opportunities in Greece, and how it applies to citizenship and residency programs and access to European market. Because now, from my understanding, Greece is maybe like top three programs in the world by demand. Like, and it's one of those European programs that is still accessible. But every year, it's getting more and more complicated. Regulations are coming into in place, and yes, please share everything that you can from your side related to real estate investments, fast track citizenship in Greece, and visa and residency options.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dennis, for this kind introduction. I appreciate it very much. Indeed, the timing is a bit better than a some. It's 6 o'clock here in Greece, so somewhere in the middle of the world, between Asia and the United States. We're here at the southeastern of Europe. So it's great, everyone, to actually be able here to present to you the opportunities that we have in our country, besides the typical, the lifestyle, the touristic options that definitely everybody knows, and Greece is one of the top destinations. I think there are more to it if people dive into what's happening in our market, in our economy, and that's why we're here to discuss. Actually, we had one of the biggest events of, let's say, combination between the US and the Greek communities a couple of days ago, because all the Greeks were invited in the White House, and due to the Greek Independence Day, and President Trump was also there, and I mean all the other people that actually respected the community in Greece. I think it's one of the biggest in the world, actually, of expats. So with that, definitely, I would say that is one of the best timings actually to discuss alternative options for investment, because the relationships between the Greeks and the Americans are on the top side. And just to also add something, also Nova Construction, our company, the mother company, is also has a relationship in the United States. We have also a company there. We are actually American breed, so we have been having activities for more than a decade now, between Greece, Cyprus, and the United States. So for us, too, is not something unknown, the US market, and we truly believe that the options that we offer and we were going to be presenting now will definitely have benefit for, and hopefully have a benefit for most families. So with that, I don't want to take much of your time, but I'm very excited to speak here. Now I will start the presentation. Dennis, how am I accessing? Sorry, I don't have a...
Okay, Vasilis, let me assist. You can actually share your screen, and then once your screen is shared, we can showcase it live. You can see an arrow.
Okay, so presentations, right?
Yes.
Great. And then drive, or...
It depends. Either it's on a drive, or you can just share it from your screen. No need.
Oh, okay, I'll share my screen. Yeah, no worries. I'll do that. Sorry, guys, about that. Typical technical issues. Right. Here we go. Right. So if everyone can see the screen, can I have a yes just to make sure we start? Hopefully everyone can see the screen. So how basically the topic of today is definitely the Greek Golden Visa program, which is one of the most popular right now in worldwide and definitely in Europe. And I think Dennis has already done a good introduction to this. But also we're gonna expand more into the Greek real estate and also how that can help the American citizens. And before we start, let's have a look about why Greece and what is to actually live in Greece, where some of the people definitely would consider for the future. Great. So, how you and your families can become a European resident by investment in the Greek market is the topic today. Before we dive into that, of course, a small introduction to the stats. What is Greece in general for people that haven't visited? In general, we are, of course, part of the EU. We have a population of about 11 million people. We have one of the biggest coastal lines over 15,000 kilometers. Our currency indeed is euro. We do have our native language, which is the Greek, and definitely people know from the scientific letters as well. But of course, English is well spoken also in our country, and I would say that it is one of the most, let's say, common language to speak compared to other European countries. And many people say, especially from United States and Asian countries, when they visit Greece, that it's very easy to go about, because I believe hospitality has been part of our culture for many centuries now, and the Greeks have been well adapted to secondary languages, and especially the English one. Now, one of the most important things that I wanted to actually pinpoint here is the property tax, which is calculated by the National Statistical Organization last year at a 0.1% rate, which is definitely one of the lowest, I would say, in Europe right now, which also tells about how the Greek government is actually boosting foreign investment and domestic investments into this industry. And overall, as many people have in their minds, I assume we have a summer climate, more than 250 days of sunshine, 227 inhabited islands, which definitely would take a couple of lifetimes to visit all of them. Definitely many options. And of course, 21 airports across the country, which means that it is very easy to access and navigate throughout Greece. So, why Greece? Definitely is one of the most important questions, and we can start by definitely saying that its location is a very strategic one, right? It's right at the heart of three continents, essentially the Asian, African, and European continent. So that's why also trade has been one of the biggest industries that has been boosting our economy. So global connection was one, also a crossroad of culture because of that location, right? because many people are actually going through every day. Um, Also, a huge advantage is the fact that by investing and becoming also a golden visa investor in our country, you have free access to healthcare and also free access to education for you and your children. So this is a huge advantage also for someone that actually wants to actually relocate, wants to move the family, then actually get to have to harness the benefits of the Greek ecosystem. Of course, investing in the real estate would be a plus if it was a huge touristic destination, and of course, you're very lucky as Greece is one of the top tourist destinations in the world, which means higher yields in large seasons, where actually, in an average, we have a 7th month season for most islands right now. But also, if you actually even focus in the touristic market in Athens, in the capital, you'll find that you have a high occupancy rate, which means that also the investment can be benefited, and you can have a sort of cash flow throughout the year. And last but not least, of course, the lifestyle advantages, the gastronomy, which is renowned. The Greek gastronomy is renowned. I'm sure you've heard of the Greek salad, moussaka, souvlaki, gyro, all these beautiful things, which are well integrated also in the American culture nowadays. And of course, history and culture. I mean, Greeks have had one of the most ancient. It's one of the most ancient civilizations, and definitely a lot to explore and a lot to learn when being in this country. But what about this particular program that we're talking about, the Golden Visa program? Basically, the basic facts are the following. There are 8 key advantages by investing in our program. First of all, you're investing into real estate, which is a tangible asset, one asset that has been known throughout many civilizations, right? And definitely also an investment that is at 250,000 euro rate, which is the minimum right now in the market, in the residency by investment market in Europe. Now, this is of course also a huge differentiation compared to other European programs. So we already see the advantages of this program. The fact that it's purely real estate, which is a path that has been prohibited in many programs, and the fact also that it's a very accessible program at this rate. Now, also the key advantages that we see here is the fact that you get essentially free movement among Schengen states, so more than 30 countries right now, access through this golden visa card. Also, there's no minimum stay requirement in the country, so this is again a huge advantage, as people might have responsibilities in the country of origin. So essentially, Greece does not impose that residency requirement in order to be able to renew your visa. Also, you have the opportunity to rent out your property and, of course, benefit of that lease and that yield on your investment. There's a fast application process. Last year was measured about 2 months. We would say now it's a bit higher due to the record highs that we had in the past couple of years of applications, but usually people get it within 6 months. But at the same time, you already get your temporary residence card, which is the blue card, which you get within few weeks. So you already can access Greece indefinitely and as many times within few weeks from you applying and getting the approval from the Greek government. Also, there's an opportunity to get a citizenship after 7 years, but there's a minimum stay requirement for that. And it's a visa that is being renewed every 5 years. you need to renew it every 5 years. You just have to pay a toll to the government, like basically renew a passport. And also a huge advantage that also it's very unique to this program is the fact that three generations are being benefited. Essentially, your parents, your children up to 21, and potentially being renewed up to 24 years old, your spouse, and your in-laws. So essentially, what is the procedure here? It's a very, very simple procedure, I would say, for people that have gone through this investment migration program before, or even getting a visa, applying for a visa. I think they've already experienced that. Usually, it's a tedious and very time-consuming process. Whereas this kind of process, I believe, it's the most simplistic from any other program. You basically are essentially securing your investment through a down payment, as you would do in any normal real estate investment. Usually, that deposit is at 10% of the total amount. You also have to sign an MOU agreement to secure your deposit, and of course list down all the details of the agreement. Then also you have to hire a power of attorney, which also our company can help with that. Essentially, we are able, of course, you can connect you with a POA, where you can also give them that power through remotely through an apostille, and they're going to go through the due diligence process, and of course they're going to be responsible for signing all the documentation, opening your bank account, getting your tax ID, and all the other sort of bureaucratic hurdles that you need to go through. But at the end of the day, you don't need to go you personally, being here in Greece, and that's a huge advantage. Actually, you only need to be only once in the country throughout the process, and towards the end of the investment process, which is the biometric stage. Then there's the two options that actually people can choose from. Either they can pay with a payment plan, up depending on the construction or progress of each of the projects, and essentially up to the completion, which is maximum, let's say, 18 months for this kind of project that we're going to discuss. Or essentially they can pay the full amount up to upfront, meaning up to the contract within 1 to 2 months, up to the sale and of the signature of the sales purchase agreement. And essentially they can be, if they do that, since there is a prerequisite for applying for the golden visa by first submitting the whole amount. For that reason, if they pay upfront within 1 to 2 months, they can apply immediately. Whereas if you have to choose a payment plan, then you have to defer your application up to the time where you have paid the full amount. So there's a trade-off here, and it really depends on a case-by-case basis. Once the payments are done, once the application is done, the approval comes, then you get your blue card, as I mentioned before, which essentially is a temporary residence card, which gives you indefinite access to Greece. And finally, after a few months, as I mentioned again, you get your golden visa for you and your family. But besides the residency advantages, as we mentioned, it's also an investment, right? Above and beyond is investment. And why is it investment? First of all, there's no hidden fees here, okay? And many other potential programs might have, they might sort of have a threshold of, let's say, 500, and the investment might go even to 600K due to those additional fees that have not been accounted for, right? In Greece, and the Greek program, I believe it's one of the most transparent programs. The fees are the lowest compared to other European residency programs, and essentially the categories are very straightforward: the attorney fees, the notary fees for the SPA and the POA, and then you have to pay, of course, your taxes and your golden visa application fees. That's really it. Those four categories include all additional fees, and they're very transparent, and they usually account for about 8 to 9% of your total investment for the property. Also, your investment is not locked, right? This is also a huge advantage. You can exit whenever you want, even day one after you invested. You can literally exit the investment. Of course, that would mean that you won't be able to renew after 5 years, but at the end of the day, you are not disallowed to not reinvest in another eligible property and potentially renew your investment in that case. So exit is available to you, benefiting and actually gaining that capital appreciation on your property is a fact, and it's something that is feasible. So that's what we're discussing about a real estate investment. When we're speaking about capital appreciation, you have to understand that Greece has been on the growing for the past 4 or 5 years after COVID. I would say on an also quite exponential stage, but still below the 2008 highs before the financial crisis of 2008. So there's still a huge room for growth, and of course, with a much stronger economy, where what we have right now, the highest GDP growth in Europe, where essentially the many conglomerates are investing right now in our country. Shipping also is in all-time high. So again, an economy which is much bigger, much stronger than it used to be in 2008, but at average price points below the 2008 highs. So we're seeing a huge room for growth, and speaking for Athens specifically, we see an average of 5 to 6% annual appreciation in your investment. Last but not least, also you have to this year, you also have your VAT exempted if you buy real estate in our country, and you also capital gain exempted. So huge advantages and huge incentives, I would say, from the Greek government. As I mentioned, Greece is now really a success story. The past couple of years, we had record highs in terms of GDP growth, where the EU average, as you can see, is about 1.1%. Greece is double that figure. So definitely tells a lot about what's going on in the economy, how has it been progressing the past 5 to 10 years, and especially real estate has been on all-time highs, not all-time highs, on the highs, let's say, year by year for the past 5 years. So who we are is probably a question that's everyone's mind. How we are allowed to speak about the Greek economy and the program and everything, how we qualified, right? So it's a very reasonable question, and my answer would be very simple. We are 100% Greek-owned company, developer, real estate developer, has been for over a decade now in the market. We are, by portfolio size, the largest in the capital right now. And also we have, specifically, we have 4 branches. The Laxanis Residences, which focuses on residential development. The Laxanis Rentals, which essentially is a property management all-inclusive company. The Apart Hotels and Suites, which also includes the Encanto boutique brand, which is essentially a set of smart apart hotels in the capital. And I'm going to get back to this actually in a bit, because some of the Golden Visa projects are being operated by a hospitality operator like Encanto. And last but not least, we are also Hilton partner Actually, we have one of the biggest European brand deals with Hilton since 2024, and we have opened the first Hilton Garden in Athens in 2024. Two more this year in Crete, a Hilton Garden in Chania, and Tapestry by Hilton also in Heraklion, and soon we're gonna also open 4 more next year. So a lot of growth coming up in the hospitality development as well. And actually, what I would say one of the factors that differentiate us is that we're able to do a fusion, if I may say that, of both big industries, of both real estate industries. So yeah, this is a beautiful Hilton Garden Inn, the Star that has opened since end of 2024, and we'll be glad to host you here whenever you visit and you'd like to meet us in person. We're very delighted to have you here. In general, the numbers speak for themselves. We have right now more than 120 residential projects under construction and under licensing stage, 14 hotel projects under development, three already in operation, and more than 245,000 square meters of net buildable development. So definitely huge growth coming up now. Also, we have a very big team of 278 people. 60% of that is white collar, so high specialty team of architects, engineers, interior designers, project managers, electrical and mechanical engineers. Basically, we have all sort of expertise in house. That's how we're also able to control the quality of our deliverables. And also, anyone that actually buys with us, they have their own personal consultant in design, in civil, in engineering, sorry, that they can also get advice from as let's say a private consultant for their case. So, and that's free of charge, by the way. So definitely a huge advantage since every client of ours is harnessing our resources in depth throughout the investment process. And all of this has been done for over the past 10, 11 years. We started I believe the first deliverables were in 2017 of 5 projects, and now we have more than 125. So definitely exponential growth. And I would say one of the most important differentiating points that we have is the fact that that the domestic market, the local market, the Greek market has been our powerhouse, not really the golden visa, compared to many other developers that it's the complete opposite, that the golden visa frenzy has empowered. So for us, even today, with huge, as even Dennis said, huge popularity in the Greek program, even today, 70% of our clientele are Greeks. And I would say that tells a lot about the sort of product quality, the competitiveness and in price, and I would say all the others surrounding services that come with a product. I think tell a lot about what kind of work we do. So definitely, this is I would say huge differentiating factor for our clients. Also, we are a company that is being offered for the past few years by PwC and KPMG. We are the only developer in Greece with a AA credit rate by Capcrif, which is a litigious independent organization that gives credit ratings in private companies in Europe, like investment rankings that are being given in countries, the same exact thing. Imagine that many banks in Greece have BB plus rate, so it's even lower than our credit rate. And for the past couple of years, we also have been awarded as one of the top 10 companies with the most positive impact in the Greek economy. So we definitely have invest a lot into our team, into our resources, into our your product in order to be able to achieve that. That doesn't happen overnight. So also having also the 3 TIVOS ISOs for the construction quality, all of these I think tell a lot about their position in the market. Now coming to the more special part about the investment and what kind of projects you can invest. Essentially, the minimum threshold that we discussed is the 250,000 euro threshold indeed, which means essentially that you have access to a specific niche part of the real estate market, which is called conversion properties. Okay, these kind of properties, they're essentially they have been allowed by the Greek government to be eligible for the minimum threshold, and essentially what they are is they are old commercial or industrial buildings that are being basically reconstructed or renovated, and they are being converted to residential. So Greece has had a shortage in the past 5 years in housing. There's a huge housing problem, especially in the capital. There's a huge imbalance, I would say, compared to demand to the demand to the supply. Okay, very, very high demand compared to the supply, and for that reason, the government has very cleverly introduced this program, which essentially not only does not compete with the locals as many other programs have done in the past, European programs, but also enhances the domestic market by bringing more houses to the locals for more families to live, and actually in that case balancing out also the rentals. So this is the kind of assets you are being able to invest for the minimum threshold, and some examples are our Piraeus Serenity residences, which of course is our highlight right at the heart of the Piraeus harbor, which is the second biggest in Europe, and definitely one of the most popular areas right now in Athens to invest in real estate, as the real estate is growing with double-digit numbers. But I think before we go into this, let's see a video about Piraeus Serenity residence.
Lux and Easy presents Serenity Residences, a unique investment opportunity in Piraeus operated by Encanto Boutique Suites. A new collection of boutique serviced suites with exclusive amenities where luxury meets return on investment. Reception, concierge, 24/7 gated entrance. Enjoy a stunning rooftop pool cinema, an infinity pool with an exclusive view, gourmet rooftop restaurant, lively bar cafe. Indulge in holistic relaxation, wellness, and detox in a serene, luxurious atmosphere. Private wellness hub, a fully equipped gym, sauna and massage area. Serenity Residences offers boutique serviced suites with 1 or 2 bedrooms from 20 to 59 square meters. In 2024, Piraeus alone handled 20 million visitors and ranks among Europe's most lively hubs. Piraeus Port just minutes away, island getaways are within easy reach, and excellent transport links make getting around effortless. The Piraeus suburban station is connecting you to the rest of Athens. Close to the vibrant Piraeus Center, surrounded by the city's lively waterfront, marinas, shops, and dining spots. Stavros Niarchos Foundation, a multifunctional center of education, art, and sports. Athens City Center, the Acropolis, the Athens Riviera, and the Ellinikon project are all within reach. Invest wisely. Choose Serenity Residences, a smart, hassle-free option with guaranteed yield. This is Lux and Easy.
So yes, Piraeus Serenity is indeed a very, very unique project for the Greek real estate market, and the service apartment model is actually quite new, given the fact also that Athens has been one of the oldest cities in Europe with old housing, So definitely, it's for anyone that invests here. Also, they become an early adopter, I would say, to this concept, and of course, you understand that the demand is highly increasing as the years go by for this kind of concept. So, first of all, focusing on the location, the Piraeus port, of course, is one of the most renowned, let's say, trade is huge in Greece. We have the third biggest fleet in the world. And for that reason, also because also it's a part of the Athenian Riviera, the southern coastal Riviera of Athens, where 2 billion euro investment, transformation investment, is happening right now. All these factors play a role for the growth and transformation of this particular location, and of course, as a result, to the real estate. So, a very strategic location to invest in. Of course, these are some of the interiors of that we have in general. The project, as I said, it's A to Z service apartment building. It has a lobby, it has concierge, it has a very beautiful atrium that you can see here, which essentially goes up to the rooftop and brings light not only from the outside of the building, but brings also from the inside of the building, and actually enhances the properties and the lighting of the properties from all sides. So, and besides that, also we have a gated entrance, daily housekeeping, laundry room, convenience store, and gym, sauna. You've already seen that, and of course a beautiful infinity pool facing the port of Piraeus, with a pool, cinema, and many sunbeds and rooftop cafe bar on the roof garden. As I said before, the project is indeed one of the most advantageous. It basically has a 4% guaranteed net return by our company. As mentioned before, we have Laxanis Rentals, which are rental management company. Essentially, we are able, for anyone that wants to keep the property as an investment, which of course is optional. You can either choose to live in or choose to keep it as investment. At the end of the day, for everyone that has this kind of purpose, we provide them a package where essentially we provide free of charge the furnishing, the management, the maintenance, the insurance, and the security of the property, and all of this by basically only benefiting of the return of 4% net per annum for 3 years plus 3 years renewable. So also the capital appreciation for this year is estimated around I would say 6 to 7%. So definitely slightly higher than the average in Athens, but of course we had seen also record highs, 13% last year, 13.5% last year. So this definitely varies depending on the year, but definitely strong numbers. And lastly, sorry, before I go to the next project, this property is operated by a hospitality operator, the Encanto boutique brand that we saw before, which is our smart hotel brand. So also it is a mixed-use hotel service apartment project, where essentially anyone can see appreciation in their investment, not only due to the location, but also due to the EBITDA per room of this particular project. So definitely huge advantage in this project. Now going to a more, let's say, holiday home oriented investment, we have also the Affair Resident, also 250,000 euro eligible. This is in island which is called Aegina. Aegina is the second island, closest island to Athens, only half an hour by boat from Piraeus port. And these are some of the sort of interior of this boutique apartment project. This is actually the particular area and region where our property is located at. Essentially, it's located right now here, which is second line to the sea. It's a beautiful ecosystem here and well inhabited compared to other islands, because of the proximity to Athens, because of the fact that there are 25,000 permanent residents in this location, and because all kind of facilities, big hospitals, schools, police, everything can be found here, and of course a port of its own, so anyone can go directly here, no need even of a car, and move to the project. So again, huge advantage if you want to also invest in this kind of project for just 250,000 euros. You can get a home in an island near the beach, which also is a very and highly also accessible by from the capital, just half an hour by boat. So beautiful also opportunity. Also a third project, and I'm kind of aware of the time, so I'm gonna be finishing soon. The Domus residence. Also, Domus residence is in the northern Athens, northern suburb of Athens, towards the mountainside of Athens. It's again a conversion project, which is becoming purely residential in the area of Harnes. These are some of the interiors. Most of the properties here are like maisonettes, like duplexes. So that's why you'll have also the interior staircase to the rooms. And Harnes in general is an area which is the 10 minutes from the commercial ring, where most technology companies have their headquarters. Also, it's 5 minutes drive from the Attica Highway, which is the fastest highway in Athens to drive around if you want to go from one end to the other, or basically go throughout different suburbs of Athens. You choose Attica Highway. So it's a highly, and it's purely residential mainly area. So mainly like Greek families live here. But at the same time, our particular project is located on the Harnes Plaza, which is the central plaza of that particular town, where you can find many shops, many restaurants, coffees nearby. So it's a very vibrant area in the center of that particular location. It's a beautiful area to actually even live in there. So people also that want to consider that, I would highly urge them to consider this option. At the end of the day, though, we also offer a 4% net return on their investment here for 3 years. And also these particular properties in this project, there are slightly also higher than the average, starting from 75 square meters net size. So highly recommended for someone that wants to get a real residential home in this particular area. Also, we have very residence, but I'm gonna skip it since a few weeks back we sold out right in the downtown. Now, also there are opportunities, just to finish off, there are opportunities also for the higher thresholds of the golden visa, which are 400 and 800,000 euros. Actually, due to the after the change of the regulation in 2024, for residential real estate, for purely residential real estate, you can invest from 400,000 euros in suburbs of Greece, in rural areas of Greece, and for 800,000 euros minimum if you want to invest in metropolitan cities like Athens, which for cities that are above 3,000 permanent residents. So for that reason, if you want, for example, to invest in purely luxury residential homes with minimum 120 square meters net size, then you have to invest 800 and 400 for the rural areas. For both thresholds, though, we have options. For the 400, we have a very nice townhouse project, the Seascape Resident, right in the Ermioni near the Costa Navarino area. For many people that maybe know it, it's just 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours by boat from Athens, and by car also. And for someone that also is wants to go through helicopter, also there's a heliport half an hour from this location. So there are many ways to actually transport to this area of Ermioni. Very beautiful project for someone that wants a bit more upgrade a bit more luxury with our own swimming pool, gardens. We offer projects, we offer properties that are minimum of 165 square meters net, 300 square meter gross size. So a villa basically. And the investment starts literally from 400,000 euros. So beautiful projects, right? 100 meters from the sea of Petrothalassa. Very, very beautiful location for someone who wants something more so holiday home oriented in a holiday home oriented area. Lastly, and I'm finishing with this, the 800,000 euro investment opportunities of luxury real estate are available to everyone. We have projects in the Athenian Riviera, which many people say it's going to be the next Monaco, like the Solmar residence, a very beautiful project just besides the golf area of Glyfada. The Orion residence near the Linikon project, which is the biggest project right now, residential in Europe. Very luxurious. Detached properties in the northern side of Athens with open sky residence, edge residence, the same exact thing. And that's it really. And at the end of the day, we have also a track record of more than 70 projects today completed. And I always urge my audience to compare the renders with the actual final deliverable of our projects and try to find differences, because always is a big challenge. And that's it for me. I appreciate your attention today. Thank you very much for giving us your time. And I will be very, very happy to meet you, connect with you after the event and hear your questions. Thank you very much.
Vasilis, thank you a lot.
Dennis?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes, perfect. Hello? Let me stop my screen. Dennis, I cannot hear you now.
Yes, all good. I guess we had some sound issue. There was open screen. Vasily, thank you a lot for presentation. Definitely great numbers. And I would like to ask a few questions from my side. As
Do you want to open, sorry, the last
slide?
if it's possible, the last slide, because I want to end my presentation.
Yes.
People that want to see a few more information, if they want, and consultation.
Absolutely. Just give me 1 second.
Great.
We are going to open and share the presentation. So while I'm opening presentation, my question is, many countries, especially in Europe, every year they increase regulations, and I've heard that Greece recently also introduced some sort of regulations that is restricting from short-term Airbnb rentals, especially that properties that goes under residency by investment program. Could you please comment on this?
Yeah, I mean, good question. So we had the regulation change in our program of like any other program. Fortunately, we didn't have a full closure, right? And the real estate path is eligible. The 250 is still eligible, but of course, it didn't come without its restrictions, and the short-term rental opportunities are not available anymore. For that reason, we are essentially doing midterms or long-term returns, and that's why also offering those kind of figures that I mentioned in the presentation of 4% net returns are actually very, very competitive if you account for the fact that in average in Europe you get about 2.5%. In Greece, in Athens, you get about 2.8, 2.9% return in average if you book it by yourself, if you lease out by yourself. So I would say 4% is a very great figure. Considering also we are covering all the expenses, right? All the operational expenses for the buyers.
Okay, and considering that you are focusing on real estate development, but besides that, you also provide hospitality management services. So basically, what you're offering is end-to-end solution, right? Customer payouts, you take care fully of management, and probably you take care also to make sure that those apartments they are occupied by midterm or long-term rentals. So it's not on a customer side. You are handling that as
Exactly.
well.
Through our property management company, we are handling end to end, as you said correctly, all the procedures for the management, the furnishing, the management, maintenance, and insurance, the security. We cover all the hassle, and also the only benefit of the rent every month after the agreed completion. So it's basically a hassle-free investment for them, basically, and our company is essentially a one-stop shop.
Okay, okay. And also, you mentioned those different tires, right? In Athens, like 800,000 euro below. What is the key difference? So, when you make an investment, does it affect time, how long it will take you to get a residency, or what are the benefits?
Yeah, I mean, the key difference is not really the time that you can get your golden visa. There's no really a golden visa, an effect on the golden visa per se. It's just a different type of asset where you're investing. This is the only difference. The 250, of course, as I mentioned, is purely the conversion properties, and that's why there's a huge shortage of this kind of properties. Excuse me, where essentially you only have to invest in converted from commercial to industrial to residential properties, and it's a very niche part of the real estate market, right? So of course, given the huge demand, also it's a bit more expensive to enter that market. Whereas if you invest in the 400, 800, you get purely residential projects like normal real estate off plan, for example, opportunities or projects that were being built greenfield, of A plus energy efficiency, like our identity, for example, that I think I mentioned before, was A plus, minimal architecture and smart home. So they get this kind of upgrade on the investment. Definitely, the value for money in terms of the difference in size of the investment is 100% there. They get full value, even more, I would say, than the amount of money. People that choose to invest in those kind of tiers, and I would say that's really the difference between the different tiers of the program.
Noted. And the last question, in terms of citizenship pathway. So, if to compare, for example, with Portugal, in Portugal before it was 5 years, now Portugal is increasing it up to like 10 years. What is the situation in Greece? So once you become a legal resident and you apply for a European residency via Greece citizenship by investment program, how long it takes to obtain citizenship?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, what the law predicts, as I mentioned in the presentation, is 7 years, right? So, 7 years quite straight. The realistic scenario, though, is the fact that, to be full transparent, our program is residency by investment program, is not citizenship. Okay, and for citizenship, of course, there are
Okay.
more requirements, like for example, to know the Greek language up to the B1 level, right? So let's say medium level
Mhm.
of understanding, and also there is the requirement of staying in Greece about half a year every year for the 7 years. So definitely, it's not an easy path. It is a possible, definitely path. It's much easier for people that choose to relocate, for example, retirees, because also we have huge retirement programs, non-dom retirement programs also that many people choose from. So this kind of uh, investors definitely is a very possible scenario to get the passport. But you have to understand the Greek passport is in the top 5 passports in the world, ranking by many indexes. we get more than 190 countries visa-free access. So definitely, I think it makes sense to be a bit harder to get.
Okay, okay. There is one more question from a chat.
Yeah.
Let me read it. How long do you have to hold the Greek property, and what happens at the end of the golden visa period in terms of selling it?
In terms of selling it, you said.
Yes.
Yeah. Essentially, as I mentioned, not to be able to renew your golden visa for 5 years, because the golden visa is issued for 5 years. It's like having a passport 5 years, right? It's the same thing. The eligibility is 5 years. Now, at the end of the 5 year period, by law, you have to be holding the ownership of that particular property still in your ownership, not to be able to renew, right? Of course, there are opportunities to sell it. As I said, there's no exit um, uh, restriction, let's say, right? There is the exit option, and there's also the opportunity to be able to reinvest in an eligible property and thus be able to continue and renew your residency. But if you want to definitely make sure you get the renewal, you have to keep ownership of the property. Now, in terms of exit, as I said, you are able to exit from day one, right? And this particular property will be depending on the area, of course, and we have to dive down a bit more in the each of the different options that we offer. But usually you offer it in the locals. Usually you can offer it also to people that are using, for example, a project like Piraeus Serenity, right, which is also a highly investment oriented project, and also there are many Greeks also investing in that. So this kind of project also they are also opening another target market, which not only the domestic people that are looking to stay there, but also people that are using for low risk fixed income investments. So these kind of sort of markets are highly accessible to anyone that wants to invest. As I said, there's a huge shortage in housing and a very big imbalance uh, pro to the demand. So the demand is definitely there, the liquidity is there, and they always have the option to exit, but always have to account for the limitations for the renewal.
Okay, understandable, understandable. Thank you for answering the question. Hope it's clear. If any other questions, Vasilis, I can guess our audience can connect directly with you by scanning a QR code or finding you on LinkedIn. Anyway, we are going to make a post presentation follow up to everyone who registered, and we are going to get more questions. So we'll address them to you. And thank you for delivering the presentation.
My pleasure. Thank you. My pleasure to be here, and definitely I'm looking forward for the next editions. Maybe hopefully even offline. Definitely.
Yes, offline is definitely, it's interesting, to connect offline. But if you look at what is happening currently in the world, and
Yeah.
so many
More
unpredictable
difficult, yeah,
situations,
sometimes.
especially situation in Middle East, you just put a lot of unnecessary risks that out of your
Mm.
control, and offline events may be more smaller, something like a roadshow or something like a private investment tour. We can discuss it as well.
Definitely. All right. Great to be here. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Thank you, Vasilis, and
Thank you, everyone.
let me introduce our next speaker, Yuri. Yuri from AI Business Advisors. We are covering today Europe from all aspects, Greece, and Yuri will share more about Malta. So, Yuri, welcome. Welcome to Freedom Business Summit. Let me make introduction, and thank you for being one of our speakers. So, Yuri representing company AE Business Advisors. It's a leading company focusing on Malta residency, tax, fintech structuring, and today we are going to talk a lot about getting European residency through Malta program and everything that Malta has to offer. It's a very small but very powerful European jurisdiction. And Yuri, welcome. Yuri cannot hear you for some reason. Maybe you can check your mic. We cannot hear you. Okay, now it's good. No. Please check your mic. Cannot hear you for some reason. No, cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Finally.
Now all
Thank
good.
you.
All good.
So, Denis, thank you very much for this introduction. Thank you for inviting me, and greetings to the audience. So, as Denis mentioned, yes, I'm representing AE Business Advisors here, not AI. AI Business Advisors very much on our phones nowadays, right? So, yeah, shall we jump into the presentation now?
Yes, let's make it. I guess just to simplify things, I will ask you to share a presentation from your side. If you can open it on your screen. So in this case, you can manage it directly.
Right.
Okay, yes, we can see presentation.
Perfect. Very good. So basically, yes. So today we'll speak about, just a second. The topic of our presentation today is relocation to Malta for individuals and for businesses. So the first part of the presentation will be about the immigration and residence opportunities for individuals, for natural persons. Then I'll speak a bit more about the Maltese tax system, which is quite unique, and we'll end it with the company and business formation slides. About us, so we are a medium-sized law firm based here in Malta. We've been founded in 1998, so it's been 28 years on the market. We have quite a robust team of individuals, about 60 people. Some of them are accountants, some of them are lawyers, others are advisors, and basically we are ramping up, growing every year at a very high pace. We have been over the years joining different world-renowned networks of lawyers, such as Multilaw, Chambers. It was a milestone last year, us joining the Chambers. So our core values, which are very close to each and every person in our team, resilience and resourcefulness. We believe that in any sphere of life, resilience is one of the most important characteristics that help you to achieve what you need. Integrity. We believe in honesty. We never provide you with any short-term solution that may damage you long-term. Client focus. Clients are our basically. This year, for example, was announced to be the year of the client. So we are focusing a lot on ensuring that the client experience is at the top of our priorities. And excellence. We'll have to do our job. We'll have to do it at the highest possible level. And what do? We are experts in legal, consultancy and litigation, corporate structuring and tax planning, immigration and residency, accounting, compliance, and audit. Now, let's speak a bit about Malta, because maybe it's a very small country, so not everyone might know much about it, right? So Malta is in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea. It's quite close to Italy, especially to Sicily. We have a ferry to Sicily that will take you about 90 minutes to get there. It's a small country, as I mentioned. So the population is about 600,000 people. It is located on 3 islands, overall approximately 120 square miles. The official language in Malta is Maltese and English. So here in Malta, unlike many other European jurisdictions, European countries, English is our native language. Okay, so the government speaks in English, the law is in English, the everyday life is in English. There is no person in Malta almost, apart from small kids who don't speak who don't speak English. That is super important, and people who relocate to another country, especially people from United States, they need to consider language barrier as one of their main things to look at, because it's hard to integrate in a country where some of the most important parts of everyday life is in the language that you don't understand. So Malta, in this sense, is quite has quite a competitive advantage over many, if not all, European countries. Lifestyle, basically, how to explain it? I think if we if you ask me to explain it in one word, that would be the word easy, right? So it's easy to find a property here. It's easy to rent a property. It's easy to buy a property. It's quite easy to get your children a high quality education. It's quite easy to get the very high level healthcare here. It's easy to become resident, and it's easy to do business. So almost each and every part of your life is, I would say, much easier than in many large countries. Not only because of the size, but also because of the mentality of the people, because of the fact that Malta is a progressive democracy. The government is working how it should work in a particular for this particular state. Now, when it comes to history and culture, I know for many Americans it's an important part. I believe it is a country that has one of the richest histories in the world. Okay, so we have people have been living in Malta for more than 7,000 years. It's been a colony of many different empires over the thousands of years. Now, at the moment, Malta is a member of the European Union, and we got our independence in 1964. In fact, our Independence Day is next week. Now, as I mentioned, Malta is located in the center of the Mediterranean Sea, and it's quite well connected with each and every major European city. Then also, Malta is quite well known as an international business hub and international financial center, both due to its favorable regulatory regime, I would say the most favorable in all European countries, and because basically it is really in the heart of Mediterranean and Europe. Public services, yes, here we are lucky to have free compulsory education and free healthcare system. Here I've put some points that may connect in certain way Malta and the US. So we have a very fast growing community of American expats. Last year it was just a bit of 6,000, but we saw quite a spike in the number of people who are coming to Malta from the US. Mostly these are families, and they come to basically establish their life here. In Malta, we have long-lasting and strong diplomatic relationship with the US. We have an embassy here. Malta has an embassy in Washington, D.C. This summer, finally, we are lucky to know that Delta Airlines has announced 3, I believe, direct flights, basically from Malta to the New York City, JFK. I think 3 days a week there will be a flight. and hopefully that will make travel easier. Other than this, you can connect to Malta through any major city: Berlin, Frankfurt, London. So with one stop, you can come to Malta in a matter of a day. Malta has a double tax treaty with the US, so if you move here, basically we can assist you obviously with optimizing your taxation, and I would say that it is one of the main drivers for people relocating to Malta. We'll go into more details later. An interesting fact that not everyone knows, the Cold War Summit was held in Malta in 1989, where basically that was the stop of the Cold War. Education. Yes, we have two large American schools operating in Malta for kids aged from 5 till 18. There is a very good university here, which is also available for residents. And the last two points might be also important. We have free public healthcare. So if you're a resident in Malta and you're paying Social Security, which will cost you approximately 2,000 to 5,000 euro per year per family, you may enjoy the free public healthcare. So whatever your needs are, this can be done at no cost. Alternatively, you may choose to have a private health insurance in Malta. The largest premiums that I've seen are $3,000 per year. So it's quite affordable, and it gives you a very high level of private healthcare. Now a few statistical slides here, just two of them. I won't be too boring. So this slide shows how Maltese GDP grows compared to the EU average. As you can see, we always outperform the European countries on average. That is mostly, I believe, is due to the size of the country, so it's quite easy to manage the economy here. It is indeed a stable and strong economy, which is extremely favorable for expatriates, for foreigners who want to live in Malta and bring benefit here. It is indeed the safest, one of the safest countries in Europe, both when we speak about street safety and geopolitical. We don't have violent crimes here in Malta. Like whenever something happens of the sort, it's a national-wide news, which are extremely important, and people take it extremely seriously. Geopolitical, Malta is a neutral state, so we do not have any military bases in Malta. We do not support any wars, so it is also an important point in this crazy world that we're living in. Now, one of the key advantages that Malta offers to foreigners is the remittance basis of taxation. This we will speak about it in greater detail at the end of my presentation. And there are no capital gains on foreign capital. So let's say you'd like to move to Malta to finance that relocation. You'd like to sell your property in the US. This money, if you bring them to Malta, will not be taxed at all. Also, there is an opportunity for business owners who wish to set up their businesses in Malta to have their profits taxed at the lowest corporate tax rate in Europe, which is just 5%. There is no other country in Europe that has such favorable tax rules as Malta. When it comes to real estate and property, the prices are rising steadily. You can see here in the span of 10 years, Maltese prices are increasing generally at a higher rate than the average of the EU. What's interesting is that we have freehold ownership of a property. So once you bought it, you also own the land that your property is built upon, and there is no property or ownership tax. So once you bought the property, once you buy the property, you don't need to pay any periodic taxes for having it. Now let's move to the immigration and residency routes. There are four main ones which I'll speak to with you today about, but there are another four which I leave aside, but we can discuss them later should you wish to. The first one I'll speak about will be the citizenship by merit. Then we'll speak about the Malta Permanent Residence Program, which is also referred to as Maltese Golden Visa Program, but we prefer to say Malta Permanent Residence Program. The Nomad Residence Permit, which is one of the newest residency programs, and the Startup Residence Program. Now, when we speak about citizenship, citizenship of an EU member state gives you number of advantages which are not available to any resident of any EU country. So, as a citizen of any EU country, you may establish yourself in any other European country. So, if you are a citizen of Malta, you may then decide to live and establish yourself, let's say, in Ireland or in Portugal or in Greece. Sorry. Now, how to get the citizenship? Most EU member states are quite protective of their citizenship, and Malta is no exception. So we have two main paths how one can get citizenship. One of them is by naturalization. That will require you to live in Malta for a number of years. And then there is the unique route, which is citizenship by merit. This has been on the headlines of the Maltese newspapers for the past 6 months. Basically, Malta used to operate a program which was called citizenship by investment. Okay, so before, what a wealthy individual could have buy citizenship of Malta and basically enjoy full rights attached to it. That particular program was closed last year, and we are now moving to a different framework, which is called citizenship by merit, and it is a merit-based citizenship. So for you to qualify for this citizenship, we need to showcase your profile. We need to highlight what value you're going to bring to the country, and it has to be something that you really want and something that aligns with your values, with your expertise, with your profile, etc. So in most of the cases, our clients are coming up with particular project that they would like to run in Malta, and with this project, with the proposal for this project, we can then proceed with the citizenship by merit application. It is available to the whole family, and basically once you get it, you have full access to health services, employment benefits, social assistance, and public education in Malta and in all other European countries. This is the process overview. I will make it very high level. Basically, the first step will be to obtain your residency card. So in about 1 to 2 months, you can obtain you can get your residency card, which obviously allows you to travel freely together with your passport, but it also allows you to live in Malta should you choose to live here. The second step would be to collect all the necessary due diligence and personal documentation according to the rules that we're experts in. With this, we'll also come up with a proposal letter highlighting how you'd like to bring value to Malta and what merit is attached to your application. Then the next stage would be for the government to check what we are submitting. So first they'll check all the due diligence aspects of your application. It's a rigorous check, so it's quite important that you're being honest with us, you provide us with all the documents that we require, because that is one of the main contributors to the successful outcome of your application. Once this is completed, the specific evaluation board, which is completely independent from the government agents in charge of citizenship, will evaluate the proposal, and they will give you their guidance whether they accept the proposal or they're not accepting, whether they'd like us to change something in the proposal that you have. Once this is completed, basically there is the minister's decision to grant you the citizenship, and once this is done, we can apply for the passports. The whole process normally takes approximately between 9 to 12 months, but you can get your residency card, as I mentioned, in the first 2 months. Let's move to the Malta Permanent Residence Program, or as I mentioned, Maltese Golden Visa. Basically, this is a permanent residence, so you get the residency card, which is renewable every 5 years on the basis of the permanent residence certificate, which is valid forever. So once you are accepted as the permanent resident, this certificate is valid for life, and it is valid for your children, for your grandchildren, for your parents, and for your grandparents. So in total, 5 generations may participate in this program under one application. It indeed has the lowest cost amongst all European permanent residency programs. So you will be expected to pay approximately 100,000 euros. That is excluding the cost of the property, which you can rent or which you can buy. Now, I'll speak about it in the next slide. So here are the requirements, the main requirements at a glance. You need to be financially independent. How we can prove that? By showing documentation that shows that you either have the capital available to you of 500,000 euro, out of which 150,000 euro is liquid. So basically you have cash at bank of roughly 150,000 euro. If you don't have that, then the capital threshold is a bit higher, it's 650,000. What you may count in as capital, your property, your investments, your business, all of this would be your total assets. Out of which, as I mentioned, 75,000 at least need to be in the form of a pure cash at bank. Once we complete the donation, contribution, and real estate investment, you will be granted the permanent residence certificate. As I said, there will be all the family members can participate, so your children below the age of 29. So all minor children can participate, but if you have adult children, the age threshold is 29, and there is the requirement for them to be principally dependent on you. So there has to be a degree of financial or other kind of dependency. The rental value, the minimum rental value is 14,000 euro per year. This is a decent price to rent a 2-bedroom apartment here in Malta. And you may also choose to buy a property here, in which case the minimum threshold is 375,000. Normally, we recommend clients to buy the property because, as you naturally and logically, when Malta has limited amount of land, right? So we cannot increase the land, and that is one of the main reasons why properties in Malta never cost less than they costed 2 years ago. So regardless of anything that happens in the world, our property prices are rising. I'm not saying it's very expensive to buy a property here, not at all. So I would say Malta sits in the middle of the range when it comes to Europe in terms of property prices. So for this money, you can buy a very good 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom apartment. If you'd like to have a sea view, you'd like to have more bedrooms, then obviously we need to consider higher budgets. Such property, whether it's rented or purchased, will need to be held for at least 5 years, for the first 5 years. That's important requirement in terms of the Malta Permanent Residence Program. Once the 5-year period ended, you may dispose of the property, but you will retain the right to live in Malta indefinitely, and you will retain your residency cards. So these are the government fees and costs which are associated with the program. As I said, it's about approximately 100,000 euros. So there is a non-refundable government fee of 60,000. There is the government contribution of 37,000 covering the immediate family, and additional contribution of 7,500 for adult children, parents, grandparents. There is also a small donation of 2,000 euro to a local NGO. Apart from that, you will be expected to pay professional fees of a licensed agent, and obviously the investment or the cost of the residential property for the first 5 years. What's important to note is that as from this year, you may people who are applying for the Malta Permanent Residence Program have an option of applying for the temporary residence permit. So in this case, if you choose to have the temporary residence permit whilst your application for the permanent residence program is considered, it is very light touch application for residency, which can be completed in approximately 1 to 2 months. We can book an appointment for you. The availability starts from 2 weeks from today, basically. So in 2 weeks, you can come to Malta, apply for the residency card, and obtain it within 4 weeks after. So roughly 1 month, maximum 2 months, you can get the temporary residency card, which is valid for a year, and proceed with your main application. That will require you to some time to collect the relevant documentation, etc. As I mentioned earlier, there are no other countries that can give you the permanent residence certificate in this short period of time with this low, I would say, eligibility criteria and conditions and costs. Let's move to the nomad residence permit. So this is, as I said, the newest, one of the most recent residency programs. It was introduced during the COVID times, and in response to basically the increased demand for mobility, especially amongst the freelancers, people who are working remotely, and business owners who are not location dependent, right? So with this program, you can get a residency permit, which is valid for a year and can be renewed for the next for 3 years later, up to 4 years. The processing time is quite short. It's just 1 to 2 months, you can get it. The government fee is also very low, it's 300 euro, and the financial threshold is also quite low for most freelancers. This is quite affordable. It's 42,000 euro a year. That would be approximately 45,000 euro, 48,000 euro, $48,000. The benefits associated with this, apart from the residency and the right to live in Malta, is obviously the tax benefit. So whoever is applying for the nomad residence permit is getting with it a special tax status, where your income from your freelance work or from your remote work, that is the authorized work for the purposes of the NRP, will be not taxed at all for the first 12 months. And later, for the next 3 years, should you wish so, it will be taxed at 10%. Immediate family members may apply, so your spouse, your children, they are all covered with the same annual income threshold. So with the 42,000 euro annual income, you can get the residency card and establish yourselves in Malta at a very low cost, both in terms of the program requirements and the taxation. Let's speak a bit about the Startup Residence Program. I'm not sure if we have any startuppers here. If yes, please, guys, let me know. in the chat section. Basically, it's a special residency program which is targeting quality startups who'd like to set up their operation in Malta in the industries such as manufacturing, software development, health and biotechnology and life science, or any other economic activity, innovative economic activity. So in reality, what Malta is after here is innovation and scalability. So this is something that is very important for us, for our economy. We'd like to grow new industries. We'd like to increase the number of quality startups that are based or are operating from Malta. The minimum total cost here would be the share capital of the company, which is 25,000 euro, and you can get and sort out your residency for the next 8 years with it. Up to 4 co-founders may apply with the same company, and sometimes it can be increased to 6. So a group of 4 people can set up a startup which will be very much supported by the government. So there are particular government incentives, including cash grants and tax credits that are available to those who are applying for this program. You may also, if it is an established startup, so if you started less than 7 years ago, so if you've been developing your startup for, let's say, 5 years, you may already have a team that is working with you. With this program, you can also bring them to Malta as well, and you may continue your startup from here. So there are other programs which I will just touch upon. Most of them are tax-related programs, so they are designed for people who are getting passive income mostly, so not active income. This would be the Global Residence Program, the Malta Retirement Program, and the United Nations Pension Program. In each of this program, you would be expected to pay a minimum tax that can range from 7,500 to 15,000 euro per year. You will also need to rent a property in Malta or buy a property. And basically, these programs, they are valid as long as you keep renting the property and keep paying the annual tax. The processing time is quite fast as well. It's 3 months roughly. But these are quite specific. So these are designed for retirees or for investors who would like to set up their base in a low tax jurisdiction such as Malta. Now, speaking of taxes and companies, let's move a bit to discuss what is the cost of this beautiful life here. Basically, in Malta, for foreigners, we have the remittance basis of taxation. Tax in general is charged either at the territorial basis or at the residence, on the basis of residence. There is the worldwide taxation, and then there are other types of taxation. Here, we're speaking about the remittance basis of taxation. In a nutshell, it works as follows. You are only taxed on the income that you earn in the country you're living in, and you're not taxed on any income that you earn outside of this country. So here in Malta, we have no tax on foreign income unless it is remitted to Malta. The capital gains made abroad are not taxed, even if they are brought to Malta. There is no withholding tax on income that you transfer out of Malta. There is no periodic property tax. So when it comes to properties, you only pay tax twice, when you buy it and when you sell it. Then there are particular special tax rates, which are available under various residency programs. We mentioned the NRP, the Nomad Residence Permit, which has the 10% special tax rate attached to it, and others that have 15%. Again, this tax is applied only on income that you bring in to Malta or income that you earn in Malta. When it comes to businesses and business owners, if, let's say, you're a business owner and you have a company in Malta, then any dividends that you receive in Malta are not subject to any further taxation. So here we have the full imputation system, meaning that you are only taxed once on one type of income. So there is no tax on dividends that are received from the foreign subsidiaries of a Maltese company. In fact, Malta is quite a popular jurisdiction for holding companies that has subsidiaries elsewhere. And yes, we have a comprehensive double tax treaty network with 76 countries, obviously including the United States. Company formation. So why is it important and who would need it? I would say any person who would like to lower their tax, global tax exposure to 5%. So again, there is no other country that can offer you such a low tax on your corporate profits. The double tax agreements, which I mentioned, are with 76 countries. So wherever you are established, wherever your company is established or operating, you may enjoy the benefits attached to the double tax treaties. It's a very business-friendly economy. So we have a number of government incentives that are dedicated to supporting businesses. Malta is very entrepreneurial nation, so almost in each and every family there is a family business or someone who's involved in the family business of another family. So it's very self-sustained nation. There are no restrictions on transferring profits out, in and out of Malta. And yes, it's a Eurozone, and basically there is no issue. There are no capital controls. You don't have any segregation by domestic and foreign account, and there is no FX differences either in the Eurozone. The company formation process is quite a simple one. So normally it takes approximately 2 weeks to onboard you as a client. And then our corporate team will be preparing the memorandum and articles and all other company documents. Once these are prepared, we submit them to the Malta Business Registry, which is currently presiding over the committee of approximately 80 corporate registries around the world. And basically in 5-7 days, your company is registered. The supporting documents are also quite simple to obtain: your ID, your CV, your passport, source of funds, and practically that's it. Why do we need companies now? How the 5% tax is achieved, right? So in general, the Maltese standard corporate tax rate is 35%. So companies that are operating in Malta are subject to tax on their profits at the rate of 35%. But if the company is owned by a non-resident shareholder or non-domiciled shareholder, then this company may claim the tax refund of 6/7 of the tax paid. So basically, out of the 35% that the Maltese company would pay on its profits, 30% will be refunded. In this case, 95% of the profits will accumulate in the hands of the non-domiciled owner. Normally, we set up a two-tier structure. So we have a Maltese company, which is the trading company, and then there is a holding company on top of it. When the UBO, the ultimate beneficial owner, so in this case, the entrepreneur behind the company, is resident in Malta, such a holding company would need to be registered outside Malta. It can be registered in Delaware, it can be registered in UAE or in Cyprus or in Gibraltar. We normally work with Gibraltar as a holding company jurisdiction. In this case, the person who is receiving dividends would be the foreign holding company. Therefore, that holding company will accumulate the 95% of the profits, and then you may decide how you wish this to be distributed. This is a structure that is working for the past 30 years. It's proven to be bulletproof, so it's one of the main drivers of the Maltese economy, and it's very reliable. So just let me summarize everything that we've discussed so far. Okay, it is easy and fast to get residency in Malta for the whole family. In about 1 to 2 months, under different programs, you can obtain your residency right. Malta operates the most efficient and most cost-effective permanent residence program across the EU. It has the unique opportunity of giving you a citizenship, its citizenship within less than 1 year. English is the official language in Malta, and it is tremendously important for any English-speaking person who would like to relocate to a different jurisdiction. Malta has free public healthcare and education, and quite affordable private healthcare and private education. The tax system of Malta is unique, and it is extremely favorable for foreigners. And as I mentioned, Malta is an internationally renowned business hub, which makes any business dealing done here much easier than in many other European countries. And yes, the corporate tax can be as low as 5%. So that is it for today. Should you have any queries, if you'd like to get in touch, please feel free to scan these QR codes, and we'll be happy to help you.
Yuri, thank you a lot for delivering presentation. We do have a few questions from the audience.
Sure.
Let me address them to you. So the first one, has anyone obtained Malta citizenship by merit? And do you have any statistics to share with us?
No, not yet. So basically, this citizenship by merit framework was launched last year, in the end of the year. So we had number of people who applied for the passport under the investment route, and most of them got stuck for a bit. Now, most of them have received their approvals, and we are only now submitting the purely new applications for the citizenship by merit. So far, our firm has submitted about 10 in the last 2 months. So before that, it wasn't even possible to submit those applications because the government has not yet, up until January of this year, created the relevant guidelines, updated for the application forms, and other relevant stuff. So to answer your question, to my knowledge, there is no statistic yet on who has received the citizenship by merit yet. I think that the first citizens through this particular program will appear roughly end of this summer.
Okay, and like talking about citizenship by merit program, considering that it's a relatively new program that was introduced, like you mentioned last year, could you describe like just a simplified framework?
Sure.
What is the input, and what is basically the key inputs, in order to be eligible to get this, to apply for a citizenship by merit program?
Of course. So citizenship by merit legislation itself is not new to Malta. It has been introduced in 2016, and now we just simply adapted the existing framework to the demand that exists for citizenship by investment /merit /impact. There are different words. In reality, citizenship by merit is available to any person who is excelling in any given sphere of life, be it sports, arts, technology, business, finance. So it has to be someone who can whose profile is sufficient enough for us to highlight to the government that getting this person as a citizen of Malta is beneficial not just to that person and not to us, but to the country as a whole. That sounds a bit complicated or high level, but I'm being generic on purpose. Unfortunately, I cannot share any information that is related to the costs of this program publicly, because that is the requirement of the government that was communicated to all licensed agents, all legal firms in Malta. So in private, I can be more open and I can explain it much better. But I can give you a high level example. So recently we had a client who is a world renowned designer, who has his design studio running for about 30 years and servicing private jets, private yachts. So I would say he's a household name in the design industry in this particular niche part of the design industry. So that person would definitely be eligible for citizenship. We have another client who is an American citizen, and she came to Malta and started living here last year because she was extremely disappointed with the direction that the government was going to. She is operating a small business which is producing craft-made jewelry. Not a large business at all, and kind of her main source of income would have been her inheritance. So these are completely different profiles, but each and every person may bring certain value to the country. And our job as the advisors is to identify what value that person may bring and match it with the existing projects and align it with the priorities that Malta as a state has, and which are actually publicly available in the Maltese Vision 2050 documentation, where basically Maltese government is explaining its strategy for the country for the next 25 years.
Noted. So as I understand, it's not maybe similar, but to make some parallels with US O1 visa, like high qualified talents. Like
I'm not super familiar with that, and I'm not sure. Okay, if the parallel is correct, because although I wouldn't say that it has to be a highly talented person, right? So it can be a person who's been simply working all his life, and then he decided to move to another country and establish his ties or her ties with that country. He has enough funds available to him, and he can certainly be of value and of benefit to Malta. There are routes to obtain citizenship by merit through charity as well. So if you are running or supporting a project that is run by a local charity, that is also one of the available paths of how one can get into the citizenship by merit program.
Okay, so I understand there is no simplified framework. Every case is very individual in terms of applying for citizenship by merit program. But
We have 10, normally we have 10 different categories. So we categorize them on one of the 10 criteria. So there is it is indeed case by case, but it's quite structured nowadays.
okay, but at the same time, it's also a shortcut, right? To get a
Definitely, it is 100% a very big and unique shortcut, because you can get the passport within, say, 12 months.
okay, and you cannot mention like overall cost for this program.
No, and it would be incorrect because in some cases the merit is not monetary based, so it doesn't make sense for me to highlight the overall cost.
Okay, okay. We have another question from the same person who was the previous one. In the Malta Startup Residence Program, can someone just invest 25,000 euro in local company instead of starting his own company?
No. So the startup residence program is specifically designed for startups that are going to be set up in Malta and which will be operating from Malta. That will have employees, and owners will be residing in Malta. So this is not an investment opportunity. It's more of a assistance to various startups that are operating in the industries which I mentioned, such as manufacturing, software, biotechnology, health, and other innovation-based startups.
So technically, it can be a company. It's more like operational company, but
It
besides,
is a company.
it has to
What?
be incorporated in Malta. But besides
Yes.
being only incorporated in Malta, it can has employees in other jurisdictions as well.
Definitely. Yeah, you will need to set up a trading company in Malta, and that particular company will need to have a minimum share capital of 25,000 euro, as opposed to a separate share company which you can set up outside of this startup residence framework, where minimum share capital is just 1,200 euro. So yes, you need to set up the company to be eligible for the Malta Startup Residence Program.
Okay, because when we've been working on organizing our events, definitely we've been talking to many agencies, to many companies, government agencies, and looks like over the recent years, Malta is starting to get traction.
Definitely, we are noticing it. I mean, I would say the main success that Malta has had in the past years was with the Malta Permanent Residence Program in China. Our Chinese community has grew from just 100 people in 2004 to more than 10,000 people permanently living here in Malta nowadays. So yes, the government is very much supportive of the citizenship and residency by investment, not citizenship, residency by investment industry as a whole. The Maltese government authorities are often attending seminars and conferences all around the world. I believe that tomorrow we will have a speech from our government authority, and yes, Malta is definitely getting traction, and there are certain unique advantages that other countries just simply cannot offer due to their political situation or due to their location or due to their language, so yes, people are getting to know more about Malta, and we are super happy about it.
Yeah, and it's also the reason because Malta has very strict legislation framework. It's
Yes.
European jurisdiction, as you mentioned. It's in English speaking country, and English is an official language.
Yeah.
So legal wise, Malta is a strong foundation.
It is. It has very strong legislation that is based on the British law. It's part of the EU. It's part of the Commonwealth as well. And yes, whenever it comes to anything that is innovative, so let's say about 10 years ago, I would say 15 years ago, the innovations were in the iGaming sector. Malta has set up the first legislative framework and regulatory framework to regularize in general the internet gambling industry as a whole. So it's even now it's one of the main industries in Malta. And there were similar legislative developments in the sphere of crypto currencies and NFTs and this crypto industry as a whole as well. So yes, we're trying to do as many different things as possible to utilize what Malta has to compensate for what Malta doesn't, right? So doesn't have the land, it doesn't have natural resources, but we have
IP.
other advantages. IP, yeah, you can put it this way.
Yeah, that's very strong. I can tell that as a part of our event, we've been offering participants to go through mobility index score, and we've seen a large percentage of people who submitted index score, and will share the data as well. But Malta has definitely a strong interest, and to our surprise, it was. It. I mean, it also was some sort of surprise for us because before we
Right.
introduced this jurisdiction, and now considering that there is a strong interest towards Malta jurisdiction.
I mean, to be honest, we are thankful for other countries, who are making it harder for foreigners to come, because, like, well, speaker, you mentioned Portugal. They increased the number of years that you need to wait to get the passport. Cyprus is increasing their corporate tax. Greece is Greece. So these things kind of help us a lot. Not to brag, but we are trying to simplify what we have rather than make it stricter or more complicated. Not just to simplify, but also to make it more beneficial to the country, so that from the local population there will be no resistance, towards these developments. Because in many cases, the problem is not just the European politicians, but also people who are living in the country, who are citizens of the country by origin, and then they see that some strange people are getting their country's passport. That is something that no citizenship should allow. No country should allow. And Malta has done tremendous job and really worked a lot to ensure that our products are unique in their offering and that they are safe and that they are welcomed by the locals as well.
So basically, you are benefiting, when other countries imply not like restrictions, but just make process of getting residency more complicated. You at
Normally, basically, I don't know. I'm not in the government, right? But I think that their approach might be, okay, let's wait for the change in this particular competitive government in this particular residency program, and let's make the opposite. So like some that is my feeling, because one of the biggest additions to the permanent residence program was that you can get the temporary residency program, so you don't need to wait until you're approved to get the residency card. Now you can just get the residency card first and then start the application, get approved, etc. And you can also rent out the property that you are going to buy in Malta. So if you bought the property, you hold it for 5 years, you can rent it out. That is also quite an important addition.
And there is no requirement for a minimum stay.
No, there is no requirement for minimum stay under the Malta Permanent Residence Program.
Noted. Okay, Yuri. Thank you a lot for your talk.
Thank you, Denis.
A lot of
Thank
information.
you for inviting. It's always a pleasure.
When other jurisdictions they offering just a few options to get residency, what you've delivered, there are numerous opportunities, and
Yes.
I understand that you as a company you work individually with each client. You help to create that individual solution.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason why I asked you about frameworks. Frameworks exist, but you make them more simplified.
Yep. Our job here. Thank you, Denis. And thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Yuri. And we are waiting for our next speaker. Stay with us if you're interested to hear about Grenada citizenship program.
Of course.
We'll offer. Just 1 second. Okay. Thank you, Yuri. Just give us 1 moment. And after an event, we are going to share. We'll update presentation. We'll make a follow-up to all attendees because we received many registrations. Maybe not everyone was able to attend the event in person because now, time is gold.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. There's so many things happening around us that it's definitely the timing of the summit is definitely right, Denise. So
You mean like narrative, right? Like things we are
the topic and the timing. Yes, I mean it's time to become for freedom to be on the forefront, of our thoughts. That's for sure.
and every year is getting more and more complicated. Like in the beginning of our today's session,
Yeah.
I mentioned the story when I've been talking to many people in my network that are asking about different residency programs, and we are not offering those programs, right? We are not a service provider, but we always direct to companies in our network. But the
Yeah.
point is that like the best time to start this process is not today; it was yesterday.
That's for sure. That's for sure. When it comes to personal freedom, personal mobility, tax, and all this stuff, you need to think about it as soon as possible. That's for sure.
Yes, Yuri, thank you one more time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for delivering presentation. We'll stay in touch and we'll send you all the updates and follow-ups after. And
Thank
Nisha,
you.
thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being our speaker. And great to see you as a part of our event edition. Let me open up your presentation. Also, just maybe to simplify things, if you're able to share it from your screen, from your laptop, or if you have this opportunity, maybe it will be better. But at the same time, we can also guide the presentation and we can change the slides.
I think I prepared for you guys to show the slides, so I'm going to work with you on this one.
Okay, sure. Then let's get started.
Okay. Right. So first of all, thank you for allowing me to join into this presentation. Today's conversation is about something most people don't think about until they need it. And that is, of course, how do you ensure your freedom in an increasingly unpredictable world? Like mentioned before, my name is Nisha McIntyre. I'm the managing director of Micronada Solutions. We are a duly licensed marketing agent and local agent for Grenada's citizenship program. Next slide. Next slide. Hello? Okay. We ensure the things that we value, our homes, our health, our businesses, our travel even. But very few people have taken steps to ensure their freedom, their ability to move, to respond, to adapt when the world changes. Next slide. All right. Now, when I speak about freedom, I'm not talking abstractly. I'm talking about the freedom to do business, to reside in places more akin to our preferences, to see the world more freely and to integrate, participate, and to be received in different parts of the world without friction tied to nationalities. But most importantly, freedom to education. And this is by far, I believe, the most underestimated value, but one of great importance. Education isn't just about access to institutions. It's about exposure to different cultures, different systems, different ways of thinking that provoke us as individuals to evolve to higher states of consciousness. And that exposure shapes how we make decisions as business people, as people, how we assess risk, and ultimately how we define opportunity. Right? Next slide. Now, resilience is built through options. When we think about COVID, we have to acknowledge that it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a stress test of global mobility. Borders closed, access became conditional, and governments prioritized their own citizens. And I'll say that again, their own citizens. Now, depending on where you were, money no longer gave you access. Citizenship did. those with multiple citizenships had the luxury of choice in determining where they preferred to experience the crisis. See, resilience isn't about avoiding disruption. It's about having options when disruption happens. Next slide. Now, diversification is how we've been conditioned to hedge against uncertainty. I don't have to tell anyone here about diversification. We've diversified across asset classes, markets, revenue streams, but few have built resilience by diversifying across jurisdictions. Indeed, many remain concentrated in one nationality. And that is where the gap exists, because diversification without access is an incomplete strategy. So you've diversified your wealth. The question I now ask of you is, have you diversified your access? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the American shift. Next slide. American investors like yourself are evolving and expanding their options. These visionaries are leading global shifts, right? In the UK, they've accounted now for more than 6,600 applications. In Portugal last year, 30% of golden visas went to Americans. And right here in Grenada, we've seen an increase in terms of demand and applications from Americans. In 2025 alone, increase went from 1% to 7% in terms of Americans investing in Grenada citizenship. Now, what we've noticed here is that the interest is driven by a myriad of different motivators, and I've put them on the slide here, you can see. But a very prominent one has become the need for increased stability and security, particularly when traveling, given existing global tensions. What we've seen from Americans is an interest that is driven not by a need to replace what they have, but rather by the desire to expand their optionality and build global resilience. So now let's look at Grenada and how Grenada benefits an American. In practice, what Grenada provides more than anything, I would say, is mobility, in that you get access to destinations. But it's not just about access to destinations, because we all know Americans have access to destinations. It's about access to countries that Americans may want to go to that one, their nationality does not allow, like China, Russia, parts of Africa and the Middle East. But also the ease of accessing those countries, even when you do have visa-free access. Additionally, you have the right of establishment in several Caribbean countries, given our membership as part of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States and our membership in CARICOM. Now, there's the aspect of credibility, the fact that we also have a globally respected passport, a benefit that matters more than ever at this time. We're also tax efficient. We maintain a tax-neutral framework for Americans in that no additional layers of worldwide tax is added on for an American. And interestingly, although we do not have a double taxation treaty with the US, Grenada does have an agreement that allows for Americans working and doing business in Grenada to have to declare that to the US, but not pay taxes on their interest in Grenada in the US, as long as they have already paid taxes on those interests in Grenada. Now, most importantly, this is the gift that keeps on giving. You invest in citizenship in Grenada today, and that citizenship remains with you for life, and it's inheritable by your future generations. Next slide. Now, in addition to that, we have a very stable currency. We've been pegged to the US dollar at a rate of 2.7 since the 70s. We also have a rapidly developing economy that is anchored in tourism, in education, in construction. Importantly, too, we do have one of the best medical schools in the world, and I don't say this arbitrarily. St. George's University places more doctors than any other doctor program or university into programs in the US and Canada. And they've been placing more doctors than any other school for over 11 years now. The school is very highly respected, very highly represented, and sought out by Americans and other nationalities around the world. Grenada also offers a significant amount of business incentives for individuals who are looking to do business in the Caribbean and in Grenada. Now, this is who we are. If we go to the next slide, just an overview of this country. We're not just a destination, it's a functioning, stable jurisdiction with a penchant for progress. All right. And then I just wanted to connect in a very human way with who we are as Grenadians. Now, many might not be familiar with Grenada per se as a country, but I'm sure some of these faces here land quite favorably on you. We like to say that we are a very small island that produces influence well beyond our size. Next slide. Now about our program. This is not an open program. It is structured and highly vetted. When it comes to things like eligibility, anyone who's 18 years or older can apply to Grenada's program as long as they do not have a criminal record, any serious reputational issues, have any visa denials from a country with which we have a favorable regime, and have not been denied citizenship from another country in the region that has a citizenship by investment program. Individuals should also not have any communicable diseases. Now, our program is one of the most given in terms of family allowances. We do allow children up to the age of 29 years old to be included on an application. Siblings of a main applicant or of the main applicant's spouse can be included on an application as long as they are unmarried and without children. Parents and grandparents of any age of both the main applicant and the spouse can also be included all on one family application. Now, in terms of turnaround, Grenada is a risk-based country in that applications are reviewed on an individual basis. So it's not just viewed based on the risk level of the country that one is coming from. Applications that are deemed low risk, which tend to be most American applications that we get, tend to turn around in a 4 to 5 month period following the submission of an application. Those that are medium risk tend to turn around within 6 to 8 months. Those that are deemed high risk tend to turn around in 8 or more months. Now, dual citizenship is allowed by Grenada. We maintain a strict policy of not reporting individuals who apply for citizenship. Physical documents are not required for our program. However, virtual documents and a virtual interview is required for our program. At present, no residency requirements are instituted as part of Grenada's program. However, we do anticipate that in the future, given the region's need to structure and to align with best practices internationally, that a residency component of 30 days within 5 years is going to be instituted. Now, in terms of our investment options, there are 2 popular pathways to citizenship in Grenada. The National Transformation Fund is a contribution pathway, a donation to the government. It's the simplest and most efficient pathway in that you invest with government, you walk away, you get your citizenship for life, you become a citizen just like I am, like any other Grenadian that's born in Grenada. That starts at $235,000, and that is an investment for a family of 1 to 4 people. Now, the other option, the real estate option, which tends to be the more popular option, is a potentially recoverable investment option in that you invest in government-approved real estate, you hold it for a period of 5 years, that investment property may pay you annual returns. Then after a 5-year period, you have the right to sell that investment to another individual who is possibly looking to get citizenship as well, or to an ordinary investor who sees value in the investment. Alternatively, you can also hold on to the investment if you see it as a favorable addition to your portfolio. Now, the 2 options are mirrored in terms of timeline. Choosing one over the other does not expedite or delay your application in any way, shape, or form. And additionally, the documents that are required for both pathways are pretty much the same. The only thing that differs between them from a documentary perspective is that for real estate projects, you have to obviously sign a sale and purchase agreement. So investing in any one of these isn't really an expense. It's a strategic allocation, like a prepaid insurance. Now, the program is very simple and straightforward. If you look at the screen, there are a few steps here that I like to just run through. Most importantly, it's a measured workflow, but it is structured, it is transparent, and it is predictable. At the heart of Grenada's program is a strong adherence to due diligence protocols and compliance. For us, what's most important is maintaining the strength and credibility of our sovereignty. So what that usually looks like is an application process where we prepare documents. I want to point out two things that are really important is that for Grenada's program, before we could even submit an application to the IMA, which is the Investment Migration Agency and the entity that is in charge of managing the program, there is a need to submit documents to the escrow bank, which is the bank that regulates the inflows for the program. And the escrow bank serves as a gateway. They will review an applicant's wealth history to determine whether or not they believe the funds were earned legitimately. And so if the bank decides that they're not going to clear an applicant, it also means they will not accept that applicant's funds, and we will not be able to submit an application to the IMA. And so their role is very important in the process. Again, everything happens remotely through agents like ourselves that are based in Grenada. The application, once it is submitted to the IMA, is honored with an application receipt that has a control letter on it that lets the applicants know that their application has indeed been received and has now been sent for due diligence. Once the application is approved, this is when the bulk of the funds from an applicant has to be forwarded to Grenada. I like to stress the point that Grenada requires you to demonstrate in your account that you have the capacity to pay for your application. But a very significant, or rather I should say a small portion of that payment is what is required upfront for the IMA to accept your application. The bulk of the payment is only accepted after you've been cleared by the IMA for citizenship. So in that way, most of your funds are not at risk here in Grenada while you're waiting on your citizenship approval. Now, this is what a breakdown of the fees look like in terms of a National Transformation Fund option. You have a situation where the investment is usually $235,000. There are fees that are charged based on whether it's an additional dependent or an additional sibling. And then there are standard fees that are charged irrespective of the investment option. And these are fees like the application fee that you see here, processing fee, due diligence, interview, oath of allegiance, passport fee, and the like. In Grenada, the escrow bank, in addition to reviewing applications, also charges its own fees. There's a 1% fee that's charged for all incoming CBI transfers, and VAT is applied to that. All right. So I'm going to skip ahead in terms of just letting you know what's available here in Grenada as available real estate options should you be looking to invest in Grenada, and the real estate option seems as a possible avenue for you to achieve your investment. Now, the first project that I want to introduce to you is the Intercontinental Grenada Resort project. This is the third project that is being delivered by this developer in the region. They've already successfully delivered a project in Grenada called Six Senses La Sagesse. It has now been running for almost 2 years successfully in the southeastern part of Grenada. They are building right next to the La Sagesse project, the Intercontinental. Now, this project is due to be completed at the end of this year, and it comes at a price of $270,000. I want to stress here that investing in this project gives you a beneficial interest in the hotel project. It does not give you any tangible property in the sense that you're not owning a unit per se at the hotel, but an interest in the overall project. Now, with that, investors do get a guaranteed return of 4%, which the developers go a step forward to actually guarantee by giving you that money as a lump sum payment of $54,000 once this project is completed at the end of the year. Typical with these programs and with these projects, you get a residence allowance of 1 week per year. You hold this investment for 5 years, and you can divest it after the 5-year period to another investor. The other project that I'll introduce to you, which does give you the option for freehold real estate, is the La Sagesse Collection. And interestingly, this project is being built by the developer of the Intercontinental project and the Six Senses project. So they have developed a residential hub and tourism hub on the La Sagesse beach. Purchased into this particular residential property gives you access to the hotel amenities at both the Intercontinental Resort and also the the Six Senses Resort. Now, La Sagesse gives you the option to purchase 2-bedroom condos and studio condos. The studios are priced from $350,000 to $370,000, and this differs based on the placement in the buildings, in the compound, and the sizing of the property. Now, I want to stress that in addition to the investments that are being made to these properties, there is still government fees and other fees that are paid to an investment and to the government. That way, when you look at a typical citizenship cost structure, if we take something that's $350,000, the expectation is that your total out of pocket will probably be around $460,000, $470,000. All right. So this just gives you a little bit more about what the La Sagesse collection looks like. The 2-bedroom suites, they go for $742,000 upwards to $907,000. And again, they're well-appointed single title condos that are 2 bedrooms on a very well-renowned beach in Grenada, close to hotel amenities by the sister projects. Now, the third property that I want to introduce to you also has a mixed purchase option in terms of there are equity shares available, there are titled interest available. The first one that I'll introduce is the equity interest, and this is in the One True Blue Beach Hotel. This is a Hilton Tapestry project. It is located in the highest valued residential area in Grenada, in an area called True Blue in the south of the island. What is special about this area in Grenada is not just the fact that it's located within 5 minutes to the airport, to beaches, to nightlife, to financial district, is that it is also the area that is home to St. George's University, the medical school. And so it tracks very highly in terms of value and the support services that have been developed over time to support the university. Now, this project is due to be completed in 2027. It is under construction at present. It is strategically located between 2 bays, one being a very scenic beach. Like the Intercontinental project, it also gives you yearly residence allowance. It does not give you a guaranteed return, but it does offer returns based on operational performance to investors who choose to invest in it. Now, you can invest in an equity share at the One True Blue Beach property. This starts at $280,000. Or additionally, this project offers 2 separate entry points. You can purchase a titled interest in a multi-titled condo. So this gives you a title but independent interest in that penthouse. And this starts at $320,000. It goes up to $400,000 depending on the penthouse that is selected. With that, you get 6 weeks a year that you can use the property at your will. And then, of course, you have the right to receive annual income from that property based on operations. After 5 years, you have the right to sell if you so like, or you can choose to keep it if you like the performance of the asset. Now, lastly, this project does also offer studios, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom condos as part of the resort. And as you can see, the price varies starting at $580,000 for studios, and it can go up to $3.2 million for the 2 bedrooms. What stands apart with the full title ownership in terms of benefits for this property is that it gives you guaranteed entrance into the Hilton Honors Gold level of their loyalty program. In addition to that, similar benefits as with the others in that you have access to hotel amenities, you get your annual returns, you get the right to live in this property. And with the full titled unit, you have more flexibility in terms of times that you would like to stay in property. Now, I'd like to just wrap up by just giving you a little bit of information about us in terms of who we are. For us in this program, execution matters. This process is only as strong as a team that's guiding it. And I like to reinforce the value of our team in this process. We are currently the only dual licensed company. We are both an international marketing agent and a local agent. And this is an acclaim that we are very proud of. through this designation, we are able to offer end-to-end solutions to our clients. So we hold your hand from start to completion. We stand by the pillars of integrity, competence, authenticity, transparency, reliability, and confidentiality. This company is built on a deep sense of local knowledge and international experience. We've worked with individuals from over 20 different nationalities. We've helped over 400 individuals become nationalized. And we've been in this business now for over 6 years. We've done about 120 applications to date. What I like to enforce here, or rather reinforce here, is the fact that for us, the relationship with citizenship doesn't just end when an applicant becomes a citizen of Grenada, but it begins. That's when a lot of the relationships we've curated with our applicants have truly blossomed. Our company offers support not just for that naturalization process, but post-naturalization, getting you established into Grenada, helping you set up businesses in Grenada, helping you establish roots in Grenada, whether that is getting police certificate clearances, purchasing property, renting property, setting up travel concierge. If you have individuals who want to move here, onboarding you into Grenada, we work with clients in that way. And to this end, we do have a quote referral from a client from the US who worked with us, and we have had several since then who have also worked with us. Grenada's citizenship is one that we as Grenadans truly respect. The program is one that we uphold. And as I mentioned to you before, everything that is done on this end is done to ensure transparency, is done to ensure due diligence and compliance. We are a small country, but we do have a tremendous international reputation, particularly as it relates to things like climate and tourism and whatnot. And our company, as I mentioned, is positioned well to help support you and your family if choosing citizenship in Grenada is the way that you move forward in ensuring your future. So I want to thank you for the opportunity. I know I kind of glazed through things, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to ask questions if you so desire. So thank you again.
Nisha, thank you a lot for delivering a presentation. I've been actually observing everything that is happening across CBI programs in Caribbean, and looks like recently, I guess St. Kitts and Nevis, it was discontinued with visa-free access to the UK. But we are talking about Grenada, and looks like Grenada is one of the strongest citizenship investment programs through all the Caribbean countries. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you are correct. And I will say, yes, I'm a very biased Grenadian, but I've also done the other programs as well. When I started in this industry, I actually started with Dominica's program. And so I have had the opportunity to learn a lot about all of the different programs in the region. All of the Caribbean islands that have a program, we are all part of the same economic union. And so we lean very heavily on each other. But these are interestingly evolving times, and with that has come different rules and responsibilities that have been entrusted on our small islands, and we have responded to them in different ways, I think, which is why in that manner a few of the programs have now been differentiated through the impacts of third-party countries and what they have requested or posed upon them.
And from what you've mentioned in terms of options to obtain a citizenship. First one is a fund investment. Second one is real estate investment. Based on your clients that you've been working with, if you can share what road is more requested, what clients prefer?
Okay, the reality is that the real estate option in Grenada outshines the National Transformation Fund option. That happens in general, not just with my company, but that's what the data points to. Within my company, I can say the same, right? But what I have noticed is that specific jurisdictions tend to request different pathways. So in our company, we process a lot of Americans, Nigerians, Chinese, Indians. In the past, we did a lot more Russians, South Africans, and the like. But right now, that's what we're dealing with. And I've always found that for, let's say, the African nationals, they will go for investment straight away. It makes no sense in their minds. They can't see the value in investing in the government's fund. And I think something that I want to qualify here, and it happens a lot, is that people sometimes forget when they are investing in citizenship through real estate that they're not purchasing real estate and getting citizenship. They're investing in citizenship and then getting access to real estate. And so what happens is, because people look at it as the flip way, they put all of their emphasis on, all right, how can I make this back? What's the best avenue to get it? And not necessarily realizing that at its core, what you are investing in, what you're purchasing, is the right to be a citizen of this country. And that has its own inherent cost. So when you make that investment in citizenship, it's not an expense. It's not a sunk cost like we like to say the NTF option is. It is an investment. Like I said, you are insuring your future. It's a prepaid investment. You're giving yourself, your legacy, your family that comes after you, access to more options in this world. But again, different nationalities, different emphasis. I find that Americans are split between investment and the NTF option. Other nationalities tend to go specifically for the real estate.
Yeah, you're totally correct that it's important to change the mindset. You are not investing into real estate. Real estate is just a tool that helps you to get a citizenship. So what you get is way more valuable, because that also, I'm not sure if it's also applied from generation to generation. So if I'm getting citizenship,
and that's what I'm saying, is the gift that keeps on giving, right? Because as a Grenadian, once you become a Grenadian citizen, if you marry in the future, your spouse has access to citizenship. Any children born after you became a Grenadian, they have access to citizenship, and their children has access to citizenship, and it keeps to go down the line. So it is, to me, a small injection that you make now that secures your family's legacy for generations to come.
Yeah. Is there any restricted nationalities that cannot apply for Grenadian citizenship as of right now?
Yeah, for sure. There are 7. We like to say that there are 3 that's a hard no. So hard no, we no longer do Russians, we no longer do Belarusians, and we obviously don't do North Korea. Now, in terms of nationalities like Iranians, individuals from Yemen, Sudan, Afghanistan, we have a restriction on them, but it's tiered in that if an individual migrated before the age of maturity, or have lived outside of these countries and maintained permanent residency in, let's say, the US, Canada, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Australia for 10 years or more, that will give you access. If you've had a visa that has been valid for 10 years or more from any one of those countries as well, that will give you access. And most importantly, if your income is not generated from any of these countries, you can also have access to citizenship. So 7 countries, 3 are hard no, 4 conditional, and different criteria.
Okay. I mean, from all the countries, only 7 countries, it's quite big selection.
One more thing I would say is that, and it's not a country per se, but we do not accept applications from stateless individuals as well. Let me say that. A requirement of the process is to have a valid passport. So stateless individuals are exempt from being able to apply to Grenada's program.
Okay, noted. Nisha, we'll let you know if we'll have any questions. So far, we had questions related to the Malta program. Regarding the data, you've clearly explained everything. I understand that real estate is actually a very straightforward and simplified process. Also, a question from me. Based on your real data experience, how long it takes from application starting process to finally get citizenship? Because there is a nominal timeline and there is an actual timeline.
For us, most of our applications turn around in a 5-month period, right? Even when we've dealt with applicants who have been PEPs, we've had maybe a 6-month turnaround. The reality is that applications are vetted on an individual basis, and that is purely based on that individual's risk profile, and that's only determined once the due diligence happens. Now, on the issue of due diligence, Grenada is very thorough and deep-reaching in terms of We do due diligence on individuals in every country that they've lived in for 1 year or more in the last 10 years. They hire companies that go in on the ground and they go to town in terms of trying to unearth what is to be learned about the individuals who are applying for citizenship. We have found for Americans, it tends to be a very straightforward process. Most of the applications turn around in about 4 to 5 months. But generally, the program is based on a risk profile. And if you're high risk, you can find applications taking about 8 months to 12 months to be completed. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things that I do want to just mention before I wrap up really quickly, in terms of Americans and what's available at Grenada, I know I talked about the fact that there are countries that we have access to that Americans don't necessarily have access to, like China. But one of the other benefits that we didn't really touch on is the fact that Grenada is the only one that currently has access to the E2 treaty in the US, in the Caribbean region of programs. And for those who may be considering renouncing their citizenship, applying to Grenada gives you the opportunity, or the hope at least, of being able to go back into the US if you so decided later in the future. With the E2 treaty, Grenadians are given access to the US through an E2 visa if they operate a business in the US. And that access extends to the spouse, it extends to children who are under the age of 21. Your spouse gets to work at any business in the US. The main applicant is due to work at the E2 treaty business. Children have access to in-state tuition and education and status up until their age 21. So this is a differentiator between us, I would say, and the other 4 Caribbean programs in the region. It's not something that we talk a lot about because for us, our merit is who we are as a people and not necessarily what we give or our access to the rest of the world. I would end by saying that Grenada really is one of the safest destinations in the Caribbean. It is a progressive Caribbean economy, and it is a country that has excelled in areas of tourism, yachting tourism, and the like. So for Americans who are looking for a second option, it is in your back door, literally. It's in the Caribbean region. And I think it's a country that can essentially whet their appetite.
Noted. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nisha, a lot for highlighting everything. And you're the only one who is representing Caribbean, who is representing Grenada at our event edition. So let us finalize all the data that we've collected, and we've seen a huge interest from registered event attendees towards the Grenada program. And we'll wrap it up on our end, and we'll share all the data with you. And thank you for being a part of our event. We had speakers today that joined our event edition for the second time, and hope to collaborate with you in future.
My pleasure for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a good one.
Thank you, Nisha. And thank you guys a lot for being today with us. Tomorrow is day 2, and we are going to cover Portuguese program. We are going to cover European residency programs, and looking forward to see you tomorrow at day 2, Freedom Business Summit 2026 US edition. And for today, we are finishing it. So thank you for being with us, and see you all tomorrow. And thank you, Nisha.
Have a good one, guys.